Hello, 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 and welcome to the stream. Let's just hop on over here. Boom, here we are. Welcome to the latest SG roster stream. I'm your host, Nintenjex, and let's go visit everyone else. Alright, hello, we're live now.
Hello!
Hi. Hello!
Hello, the internet.
So, for everyone listening in, joining me today is Huff, as usual.
Hello!
And then we have two very special guests. First up, we have APC, who many of you may remember from the Disney roster stream that we did before.
Hello, how's it going?
They're back to join us for this Warner Brothers one, and for the first time joining us for one of these roster streams, we have friend of the channel and platform fighter aficionado, PapaGenos.
Hey everybody, how you doing? Happy to be here. Thanks for having me, guys.
So, Multiversus relaunches on Tuesday. And so this felt like the ample time to get our inevitable Multiversus, one of these roster streams out there. I think with Multiversus is obviously we kind of know what the relaunch roster looks like. It might have a couple of extra surprises that they haven't properly revealed yet, but it's intended to be a live service game that constantly adds characters as it keeps going, which means we don't know how many characters they have. We've limited ourselves to 24 characters each today, and they might add 24 characters in like 5 years time from now. So it's a good one for us to just sort of be very creative with, because I think some of the choices they've gone for are quite creative as well. They've clearly had like a lot of creative freedom in how they represent some characters. I mean, the first one they revealed was like Ultra Instinct Shaggy. So they clearly know what fans want. And Warner Brothers has a insanely large cast of IP under their belt. From
Too many IP for that.
Video games, cartoons, live action movies and TV shows, anime. So in order to come up with what the rules were for this one, we decided that pretty much the only limit was that they either definitely 100% had to be owned by Warner Brothers, or it had to be something that Warner Brothers was involved in the production of at some point within like the last 5 years or so, like that.
Yeah,
something that
the way I worded it was the way that I worded it was that they have had to have used that series in some form within the past decade or so, because that shows still interest in using it.
Yeah,
that way we can't pull out something that like another studio just owns now and they can't use, like
Lego Movie, I suppose.
I was hoping I could come up with an example.
It's hard to keep track of them all.
Yeah, they own way too much. Way too much stuff. Or they have access to, I should say. And
even within those parameters, it was very hard. I don't know if you guys had a tough time, but I had a very good
time.
I
did. I created a 50 character one on the side to post later because I just had too many ideas.
Too many ideas to come up. See, I was coming up with. I mean, we're going to see them all in a sec, and I'm streaming separately to you guys so that you can see it a lot faster, more in real time if you want to watch that rather than the actual stream itself. Also, is everyone's can everyone hear? Is the audio all right for everyone? Can everyone hear the rest of the gang?
Sounds fine to me.
Yeah. Oh, I was talking to the people in chat. Sorry.
Yeah. I'm the stream.
Just because I'm not listening to the stream. Obviously, I'm trying to keep as minimal effort on my end so that my computer doesn't explode.
Yeah, it sounds good on our end. It sounds fine on the stream end, I should say.
Great. Awesome. Then, I guess we'll just get started. So the order that we're going to do it in is me first, Genos second. Am I using the correct microphone? Good point. Let me check, actually. Because my computer did reset a bunch of my stuff, including on Discord, which is annoying. Give me a second to double check that.
I noticed something changed with the names on the image that you have from the image that I have. I don't know what happened there, but it's fine.
What's changed? I didn't see the original.
Yeah, I can't explain it. I'm just gonna like take a
Okay.
screenshot of it and send it in the group chat because frankly, I do not know what happened.
All right. Well, I'm now using. Let me know how I sound now because I've swapped the microphones over to the one I would normally use. I don't know why Discord did that. It sometimes just decides. Oh, you want to use your webcam mic, right? Yeah. Okay. I sound better now.
Discord does that to me all the time too. If I have headphones plugged in, sometimes it uses the headphone microphone. It'll try to do the webcam microphone.
That's super annoying.
Yeah, basically every microphone I don't want to use. It's like, yeah, it's probably a better one. Let's switch to that.
That's fine. All right, yeah. So the order's going to be me, Genos, Aiden, and then Huff at the end, and we're going to do this one at a time, similar to what we usually do when we present the rosters like this. And yeah, let's not waste any more time. Let's just jump right in on my first one. And so, like, I wanted to make sure, started strong. We'll get the obvious pick out of the way immediately. It's Bazinga time. Yes! We're doing it. Straight up. First one out. Yeah, it's just really funny. When I found out, obviously, Warner Brothers owns, like, TV sitcoms, I really wanted to have a character from one of these that I think would fit. And, like, come on, Big Bang Theory, full nerd culture. I'm pretty sure they play Super Smash Brothers in, like, one of the episodes.
They do. My dad was obsessed with the Big Bang Theory, so
my dad likes the Big Bang Theory.
I think I own the first 8 seasons on DVD, and I think only 3 of them are out of the plastic wrapping.
Wow.
Okay, me and Nan have an excuse saying that our parents like it. I don't know what yours is.
My parents liked it. They bought it for me.
No, you can't backtrack now.
Nah.
You like it yourself.
It's true. I do have a Sheldon Cooper Funko Pop.
Okay, you revealed that yourself.
So I just like the idea of having like a Bazinga attack button. That's like the default special. You just press and he says it.
I just want to say I am so happy you used that specific image of Sheldon, where he's gonna hit like a keyboard button.
Yeah.
Because that is one of my favorite images on the internet. It's so goofy.
He's ready to battle. That's how it goes.
I mean, like, with the way that Velma fights with catchphrases, it's not that way to do a Bazinga attack. It's really not.
I was going to say, it's very Velma, very Marvel 3 Phoenix.
You know that idea that people have for Waluigi in Smash where he just yells "wah" for one of his attacks? It's that.
Yeah, young Sheldon and then Toon Sheldon as well, just to round out the Sheldon roster.
Toon Sheldon.
I wanted to start off strong with this one. So next up, we're going to be going for yours, Genus. So what's your number one?
Oh, okay. So my number one isn't necessarily like my number one character. Mm-hmm. I do have one, but it's later on in my thing. But the first character I said, I went through Cartoon Network stuff first because I don't know. When I'm looking at Multiversus, I'm almost like we just talked about how the pool of characters is so large that it's tough to pick characters. And I almost wish this game was a smaller pool, like a Cartoon Network only game or something like that. But anyway, so I did a bunch of my Cartoon Network characters first. I got those off the list, and they took up a good chunk of my 24 characters. But when Cartoon Network first, blasted on the scene, or when I first noticed it anyway, when I was a kid, it was like a rival to Nickelodeon. My favorite show on there at the beginning was Dexter's Lab. So my first character is Dexter from Dexter's Lab. I think he has a great moveset potential. Like, all the robot suits and stuff he uses, all of his experiments and whatnot. And like I said, that was like my favorite Cartoon Network show. Of the original Cartoon Network lineup of cartoons.
Yeah, Dexter's Lab was awesome. So. They did a Cartoon Network fighting game, didn't they? Punch Time Explosion. I think I had it on the Wii.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was actually going to play it before the stream, but I could not find my Wii.
I do not remember it being a very good game.
Yeah, I was going to play it, but then I realized I could spend my time doing not that.
Yeah, it's not a great game. I actually think it has a pretty decent roster, though.
The roster's pretty good.
The roster's fine for the time.
You can tell that it was made before 2010 when Adventure Time and regular show kind of took over everything.
Yeah, isn't Finn in it?
No,
is he not? I thought I remembered him being in there. I know Chowder is.
I remember that there was like one series that was like relatively big that people were complaining weren't in it, but I cannot for the life of me tell you what it was.
I want to say, I don't know why I was around during speculation during that time. I want to say it was Ed, Edd n Eddy.
Yeah, probably, because I think the creator of Ed, Edd n Eddy owns the rights to them.
Yeah, it might be that.
And I think everything else is in there, actually, except... there's stuff, I think there's stuff from Chowder. I think Chowder
Yeah, Chowder's
and
definitely
Flapjack.
Yeah, Flapjack's
Chowder
in
and
there.
Flapjack were the big ones for that game.
Yeah, and then
I never saw the
they pretty much had all the classic Cartoon Network stuff too, except for the Eds. That was like the one exception.
The big missing one.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
from what I'm looking at, the, like, two big ones that jump out to me, like, yeah, we don't have this, are the Eds and Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Oh, Courage isn't in there? I thought Courage
No.
was for some reason.
I'm
Okay.
surprised it wasn't, actually.
Alright, shall we go on to your first one, Aiden?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know what order this is in. Oh, yeah. So, I kind of placed a little bit of a stricter rule on myself. I didn't want to dip too hard into characters that have been teased or have been found elsewhere in different ways through the game. So I wanted to go fully original for the most part. There's a few characters in here that are like, we've heard voice clips for them, or they're very hinted at, but I wanted to go for... Honestly, just after Banana Guard, I was like, I'm just gonna go for what I want.
Yeah.
And I thought Wizard of Oz is something that I think deserves more than one character. And I think the Wicked Witch is gonna happen eventually, but I think Dorothy would be a really fun option.
Yeah.
My
Dorothy would be pretty good. I've realized recently that, like, Wizard of Oz is actually, like, there's a lot of different adaptations of it.
Yeah, there are so
Yeah.
many.
Yeah. I discovered there was, like, a whole original, like, I think, like, 80s anime series of Wizard of Oz that people posted.
Wait, that
the
was
other
real?
day.
I thought that was a meme on Twitter.
No,
that's
it's real.
Well, Wizard of Oz is like it's from like the 1800s, so I'm pretty sure the copyright on it is just
Oh yeah, it's
open, so
public
it's one of those
domain.
things.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wizard of Oz is such a weird series because, from what I did my research into, it started off as a book series by one guy, and then another guy took it over and made like 14 more, and then another guy took that over and made like 12 more, and it's just like, what is the canon of this? What is eligible? What is the Wizard of Oz?
They just stuck to the 1939 movie.
Mm-hmm, that's
And
fair.
my instinct was that Dorothy is kind of like BB Hood from Darkstalkers if she didn't have the guns. And just is like kind of an incidental villager type fighter where she's, swinging around a basket.
Mm-hmm.
She clicks her heels as like a down air.
I like that.
Yeah.
Toto pops out once in a while.
She's the tornado
like-
comes in for a special.
That would be great. I also thought about like she could summon maybe, because I know Multiversus is big on like buffs and debuffs and stuff. I thought it'd be cool if like she, would summon like a patch of the sleeping flowers underneath her that would like slow down fighters that walk through it.
Like a Jigglypuff, put people
Yeah.
to sleep thing. Nice.
That's cute.
I just think like it'd be a fun thing, and I just like wacky characters like that. So
Yeah, Dorothy would be a fun one. You could potentially also utilize the other Wizard of Oz characters as like to protect her, like the Lion and the Tin Man and the Scarecrow.
I thought about that, about having Tin Man forward smash, but
Dog summon, dog summon.
dog summon.
Yeah.
Sick 'em, Toto.
Jalapeno's got it. Super move, she just crushes you under a house. Just falls from the sky.
That's like a final smash. Like if there's a final smash thing.
Yeah.
That's final smash. Crush with the house.
Alright, yeah, awesome. Alright, Huff, you're next. What have you got first?
So just for a preface, remember how I said I did the most unfunny bit possible for this roster?
Yes, you did tell me this.
Yeah, look at the first one. I'm just gonna say click it.
Oh boy.
That's the bit. You've
listed all yours from like 1, 2. Should I make the next one up live, or is this actually the icon you're going for?
No, the number 2 is just click number 2.
Okay. Nice.
Now you see the format. So yeah, Daffy. I was in charge of putting the big roster together. So as you can tell, I started PapaGenos, and Aiden on different categories. Like, PapaGenos is in Cartoon Network. I'm on old shit, and Aiden's on old shit, but with real people.
Oh boy!
So
my layout's going to be all sorts of confusing.
Yeah. For reference, I was unaware of Nan, so theirs is just whatever. So yeah, Daffy is. I kind of don't know what to say about Daffy, because Daffy is the... Why the fuck isn't he here?
Yeah.
You know?
He does feel like an inevitable choice.
Yeah, like, he is one of the 3 most well-known characters from Looney Tunes, and it's weird that, like, we have Bugs, but not the other 2.
Yeah.
Like, we don't have Daffy and we don't have Porky, and I went with Daffy because I just like Daffy more.
Yeah, we got Taz and Marvin the Martian before Daffy.
Yeah, it's really weird, but, like, I'm not complaining. I just think that we should have Daffy in there, man.
Yeah.
Marvin was my most wanted when the game got announced, so I'm happy.
Well, it's interesting that you went for Daffy next, because I actually did Duck Dodgers instead.
Oh, good bit, good bit. It's really funny that these are back-to-back.
Yeah, because I grew up loving the Duck Dodgers show, and that's got a kind of, like, cult status, I think, among cartoon fans. And I was just like, well, if they add Daffy, he might be kind of similar to Bugs, given that they sort of feel that same, I'm a cartoon character who dresses up and does wacky stuff. And I thought Duck Dodgers would be like a fun in-between of like being the hero parody archetype, being a rival to both Bugs and Marvin the Martian, because he's already in.
Yeah.
And then you could like pull that, I guess, spin-off of Looney Tunes into Multiversus a lot stronger. Like have characters like the Martian Queen and stuff make cameos or assists or whatever they want to do with that, because I know she's a popular character. And yeah, I just like Duck Dodgers, so I thought he'd be more interesting than Daffy on his own. But I agree that one of them has to be there.
Yeah, I did consider Duck Dodgers for a time, but I was just like, I think Daffy fits more of my style of being like just goofy, you know?
Mm-hmm. I feel like realistically, if Daffy gets in, he'll almost certainly have a Duck Dodgers like alt, unless they go with that as the default. And I could definitely also see, like, if he gets a stage, I could see Duck Dodgers being the stage, because it's like, it's a very Daffy thing. I don't know what else you do. You could do like the woods with the rabbit season poster, you know, but
that's like a Bugs and Daffy stage, basically.
Right. So I feel like Duck Dodgers is more specifically Daffy.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love something based off the Great Piggy Bank Robbery short, the one that's been going around on Twitter a lot, where I just said Donald Duck, Daffy Duck, where he's a detective. It's a old school Bob Clampett short. It's my favorite Looney Tunes of all time. I'd love to see him take some inspiration from that.
Is that the one where it like ends and I don't know if it ends, but it's towards the end and he's like, there's a bunch of like almost Dick Tracy villains that he's like going over? Yeah, okay, that was good.
Like,
yeah,
Batman,
I remember that one.
Hey guys! You're all under arrest.
That one's good. That's a good one.
Alright, Genos, what have you got for us next?
Alright, so we actually talked about these characters because they're not in Punch Time Explosion. But the Eds. Yeah, from Ed, Edd, and Eddy. Ed, Edd, and Eddy is another show from Cartoon Network I absolutely loved. And I could totally have these characters as 3 separate characters, but I wouldn't mind them as a 3-in-1 character either. And just considering we're trying to fit 24 most wanted characters in here, I decided to, just put them as one character, because I'd be like, if we just got Ed, I'd be fine with that too, you know.
Yeah, I agree. I think they should work. I think they should work as a trio. Like
they do. Yeah.
What about just Plank?
Yes. I would be cool with Plank or Rolf. Honestly, anyone from Ed, Edd, and Eddy is cool with me. But I want the Eds as a 3-in-1 because I think, I do think that could work. There's actually quite a few characters that come up that I feel like can work well as a 3-in-1 character for this game that get discussed pretty often. So yeah, I'd love to see the Eds. Cool moveset potential with all their schemes and things they've done, and like contraptions they've built to rip people off, and the jawbreakers, and I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot there. The show was really cool. I'd love to get the cul-de-sac as a stage. I'm just a fan of Ed and Eddie, so I think a lot of people are. Yeah. I think you guys are right about Punch Time Explosion, that being the missing show that everyone was like, wait, why wasn't that there?
Where's Ed and Eddie? I think a stage based on, like, I remember the one episode where they build, like, the massive slide, like, out of, like, cardboard and stuff. Like, a stage based on that towers over the cul-de-sac and falls apart bit by bit.
Yeah, there's
be a fun idea.
There's a few good stages you could do, for sure. Like, the cardboard town they build, or, like, city they build like that in the cul-de-sac one episode.
Do the dump.
Junkyard. The dump would be a good one, too.
I was going to say, I'm imagining it as, like, Gamer from Smash Wii U, where the layout's different every time, and it's just different cardboard, like, layouts.
That'd be good, because you could do just the cul-de-sac, but, like, what scheme is Eddie pulling this week? What did they build to, rip everybody off this week?
That'd be good.
Yeah, that's my second one, the Eds.
All right.
I also don't know why, but I'm imagining, like, Eddie grabbing Ed by the head and doing the banjo forward smash. Woodpecker.
Yes. That's
using each other as weapons is perfect. That is definitely very Ed and Eddie.
All right, Aiden, what live action character do you have next?
Let's see. Yes, okay.
2.
I was very iffy on this one because Little Shop is, first and foremost, a Broadway musical. And I didn't know if Warner Brothers had the rights, but they seemingly have the rights to the movie version. And they also release a lot of merchandise for it in recent years.
Yeah, they still do tangentially have the rights to it because they've used it in a couple crossover things before.
Yeah. So,
to put it bluntly, this was on mine for a bit, and then I just was like, I'll do something else.
I thought about it as well, because I remember Colin brought it up in the past about putting Audrey in the game.
It also adds another big character, which we only have Iron Giant and Jason, kinda.
He's wide.
Yeah, he's definitely smaller than I think people were expecting. Like, he's big.
I'm happy about that,
but there was, like, that leaked image. I don't know if you guys saw where he was really big.
Yeah.
But he's smaller than that, but still large. But he's not Iron Giant size, so yeah, it'd be cool to get another colossal character.
For a little bit of context to that, what likely happened was they do this in Smash 2. They design a character as being able to make them, like, proportionately correct at, like, a specific size, and then they scale them up and down to be, like, what fits the actual character. So likely that was what they designed him at, and then they, like, altered his size to fit better.
Yeah. So,
but yeah,
would Audrey be like Piranha Plant then?
I think that they'd be very different from Piranha Plant because, for the most part, in the movie and in the show, they're a very stationary character, but they also, at the end of the show and in the original ending of the movie, they grow giant and break loose and wreak havoc and take over the planet Earth. So, I was thinking it'd be cool if they kind of traveled by, like, vines and were able to, like, plant them in the ground and spit them up, create little spore Audreys that kind of float around and attack. Obviously, there'd be some kind of eating attack, like Taz.
Yeah.
They also do have a scene in the movie where they pick up a pistol and shoot it, so I would love to give neutral special gun to Audrey, too.
Nice,
yeah. Yeah, because that was the thing that sort of held me back from including Audrey, like, how do they move? How do they jump? How would this work?
Yeah, I kind of imagined it being, like, moving through sheer will of, like, desire to take over the world.
Nice.
But yeah.
That'd be definitely cool if they, like, slowly, I don't know, engulfed the stage in some way, or grew. Just kept getting bigger.
I love that. Maybe if, like, every time you used your bite attack, every time you, like, bit attack, it would slowly grow.
How about with every stock, you just get bigger and heavier?
Yeah.
All right, what have you got next, Huff? Let's find out.
All right. In terms of Looney Tunes, there's one character that has a really good moveset, and that's Mr. Wily E. Because, like, just having a trap-based character fits Multiversus pretty well, especially with how they design it being team-based, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like that would have it flow pretty well, and I feel like out of any Looney Tunes character, Wily is the character that would have the best moveset potential just based on all the stuff they have that works for a fighting game.
I see what your running gag is now.
Yeah.
It's going to stay like this now for the stream. I'm not clicking 4.
No, I need you to. I had a bit with that icon.
Okay.
I had a bit with that one.
Oh,
Shit, he already killed himself. I had a lot of fun making these.
I can tell.
I want you to know what happened was I made 2 icons of these as a joke, and I said, well, I gotta do them all now.
That's why you've got 50 blooming icons in this thread. Oh lord.
Also, I see people saying in the chat, yeah, release Coyote versus Acme. Just do it.
Mm-hmm.
Just release it.
For real.
So yeah, anyway, continuing on, Nan.
Yeah, okay. So next, what do I have next? I think I've got a Cartoon Network one next. Yes, I do.
Yes.
My favourite Cartoon
Grim
Network
is
one. Of course, he has to be there. He's contractually obliged to be.
Yeah, but he's
With
like
Billy
barely
and
there.
Mandy.
That's my favorite part.
So yeah, like Billy and Mandy is great. And I think they would make a great duo set of characters. There's a lot of wacky stuff you can pull from that show. Hey, you could have the Audrey 2 parody show up
True.
from that show. And then, yeah, Grimm is also forced into being here, but he's not named. He's like, I guess, shows up for attacks sort of thing. But I think they would fit right in. So, and like I said, they're my favorite Cartoon Network show, so I was gonna have them here straight up. I don't have much else to say really. There's a Billy and Mandy fighting game that was quite fun on the Wii, so they could pull from that for the moveset as well. It's good.
I think they were a team in Punch Time Explosion too.
Yeah, I was trying to remember if they were. I remember they were in it. So
yeah, I know that their super move is them doing the Super Saiyan parody.
Awesome.
They can do that again here then.
That blew my mind as a kid because there was not that much acknowledgement of Dragon Ball Z in Western media back then.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, it was awesome.
All right, let's see what you got next, Genos.
Well, also a Billy and Mandy rep, but I went with Grimm. So you can have Billy and Mandy, I have Grimm. That works.
Yeah, that's well timed back to back.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, no, I also loved the Grimm Adventures of Billy and Mandy, and Grimm's the Grim Reaper. That's just a cool character. That's such a cool character to put on the roster. And I'd love to just get that show represented in Multiversus. So not a ton to say on it. But yeah, I want to see some Billy and Mandy representation as well.
Yeah. Cool. Aiden, what have you got next? Let's have a look.
See.
Hey.
Yeah. We're kind of
Goose.
in a musical stretch, it seems.
Yeah.
So
Is that how you spell his name? I always thought it was
how
Beetle.
that's the demon spelling, but the official movie title is Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Truth be told, I made a Beetlejuice icon just as a prerequisite because I assumed somebody else would be using it. So I figured hey, might as well get it out of the way so I don't have to make it. And then Aiden sends me this, and I'm like, wait, what? I have not seen the movie. I'm just gonna preface with that.
It's a good movie. They're making a new one, aren't they?
There's a sequel coming with Michael Keaton coming back.
Oh, nice.
But
I feel like if Beetlejuice gets in, it'll probably coincide with that movie. They kind of did that with Black Adam for his movie. It was at least the same month, so I feel like that's our window for Beetlejuice coming into the game for sure.
This is one of those characters that that I felt I needed to include because I love Beetlejuice. I love the original movie. I love the musical. I was iffy on including him in the first place because we kind of think he's probably in the game eventually, but he's also just one of my most wanted. So, and I mean, moveset potential is super obvious. He can turn his arm into snakes. He can spin his head around, turn into a giant merry-go-round if he wants.
Yeah. I wonder how much they'd pull from the Beetlejuice cartoon. Because that was a thing that also existed.
Yeah. I assumed that they would be pulling the design from that, just because I think that would translate better.
Mm-hmm.
But, again, I haven't seen it or the movie, so I don't know how much to do.
Yeah, it's something I was thinking about when picking some of my choices that will show up later on.
Yeah, so far, a lot of the characters that we have are before my time. Like, if you might have noticed, I wasn't talking about the Eds or Billy and Mandy or Dexter, because those were off the air by the time I got cable.
Damn. You're making me feel ancient here, Huff.
Yeah.
To be fair, I am pretty sure I am the youngest one here.
Huff, aren't we the same age?
No, I'm younger than you.
Oh, okay.
What really bugs me is when I talk about Adventure Time or regular show, and I'm like, yeah, new Cartoon Network shows. People are like, those are old, and I'm like,
the same way.
No, those are the new shows. It's not the old stuff.
They're not that old. They're only
14 years
Adventure
old.
Time's only been off for half a decade. That's
Adventure Time definitely started in early 2010s.
Yeah, both Adventure Time and regular show started in 2010, if I remember correctly.
Because I know Lumpy Space Princess says, whatever, it's 2009. And I remember when that aired, and I was like, it's not 2009, it's 2010. And that was the beginning of Adventure Time, so I always remember when it started.
There was something else I wanted to say about Beetlejuice. Oh, that's what it was. I didn't really think about voice actors too much when deciding things. But also, I think Multiversus has made a pretty big deal out of hey, these are the different voice actors that we're getting to play these characters. Mm-hmm. And I'd love for Alex Brightman from the musical to come back and play Beetlejuice, because they did that for Teen Titans Go. Instead of doing a Michael Keaton voice, they just brought in people from the musical to play him.
That's cute.
That's cool. I like that.
Beetlejuice is in Teen Titans Go.
Yeah,
everybody's in Teen Titans Go.
Yeah, they have Freakazoid crossover.
Oh, okay, wow.
Okay, I don't want to get too off track here, but this happened a month ago. I was scrolling through something and I saw Teen Titans Go see Space Jam or something like that. It's a Teen Titans Go. Yeah, it's a Teen Titans Go TV movie or something. Maybe it's not TV movie. I don't know, some sort of movie where literally it's the Teen Titans Go characters watching the original Space Jam. And I realized that there are kids today who maybe wouldn't know who Bugs Bunny is, and their first exposure might actually be so far removed from what Bugs Bunny is if they watch Teen Titans Go see Space Jam, because that is 7 levels of
separation.
Yeah. Separation from what the heck you are watching. You're watching Michael Jordan interact with Bugs Bunny in a 90s movie being watched by a current show that is actually a spin-off of a 2000 show, which is actually a spin-off of a comic book. It is so bizarrely I was this is a fever dream of weirdness to some 6-year-old kid who's this is my first time seeing Bugs Bunny, and I'm yo, Bugs Bunny from Teen Titans Go see Space Jam. I'm no, that's not what he's from.
Hey, just to confirm that, you want to know what my first exposure to Bugs was?
What?
God.
The Looney Tunes show.
Okay, but
that's at least the Looney Tunes.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
Yeah, but that's pretty far removed. Also, great show.
It is a good show, yeah. It's still Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
It's going, oh, you mean Batman from Fortnite?
All right, Huff, what have you got next?
Space Jam was a lot of 90s kids' first exposure to Bugs, or maybe your first real time sitting down watching something Looney Tunes. So it was definitely a gateway show, but gateway movie, but. Yeah, I don't know. I just thought that was so bizarre. That just that exists is so bizarre in my opinion. So,
all right, Huff. Let's see what we got next.
So, to just be blunt, I think that cavemen are funny.
Oh boy.
Yeah, Fred is a character that is probably he is objectively one of the most influential characters in animation.
Yeah,
he is the reason why a syndicated animation really exists and why adult animation exists in any form.
I mean, for instance, is the inspiration for Family Guy.
I think Homer Simpson pulls a lot for they've made that joke on The Simpsons too. That
Yeah.
The Flintstones.
I'm pretty sure in the Family Guy Simpsons crossover, they have, in the big trial scene, I'm pretty sure that's where the image of the
Yes, it is. That's
Fred
exactly
Family Guy
where the image comes from.
Because the judge that's determining whether or not they're separate entities is Fred Flintstone, who's like, "You guys aren't too different from me.
You guys are both pale imitations."
And Fred Flintstone is based off of the Honeymooners, right?
Yeah.
And that's like one of the first like shows ever. So literally, they made like one TV show, and they're like, "All right, that's enough. We can just copy that from now on." Like that worked.
Yeah,
it's
That's
true.
magic,
It's actually
baby.
incredibly true.
I also had a really dumb idea. His side special is him doing like the bowling animation bit where he's like walking on his toes, and depending on when you release it, it throws at a different angle.
That's
I
good.
love that GIF
Yeah.
so much. It's so goofy.
I'd love if his up special was just like a tiny pterodactyl that's slowly flapping its wings, and it just goes, "It's a living."
It's the same as Jason's up smash or whatever, except for with a pterodactyl. Like the bed clap, except for with a pterodactyl.
That bed clap move is so cool. Jason's
It's
move
so good.
so
is
funny.
awesome. Like it's so funny. I loved it.
All right, let's. What have I got next? I think I have moving on to live action for a bit, and up next, yep, you got to represent the UK, baby. Austin Powers. So, like, James Bond, forget about him. If we want to have a spy type character in this, let's go for the funny one, the cool one.
Yeah, put James Bond in Smash. Like that's GoldenEye 64.
This is a real men's game.
Yeah,
Right. Exactly.
Austin Powers is effectively. Austin Powers is effectively a cartoon character already. in how Mike Myers portrays him. So having. I think it'd fit really easily into Multiversus, and across all three movies, there's like a ton of gadgets or scenes that you can reference. Like the part where they've got the steamroller and they're moving very slowly. The people can be like a sort of a special attack, and there's like various different spy gadgets that he has that he can use.
If you do the steamroller, it should be like super, super slow, but if you get hit with it, it's like instant death, but it's just super slow.
Just flat out does the Dio steamroller move.
I just think the way he
to do this.
I think the way he moves would be very fun because he's got that fun like dance walk that he does a lot in the musical sections. So like his default walk can be that strut where his arms kind of jazz hands as he walks forward. Like I want to see something like that. I think it'd be a very fun character, and there's a lot of Hulk potential with him as well, given how many outfits changes they have across the three movies. Though, yeah, Austin Powers in here, first live action movie one for me. Right, what have you got next, Genos? Let's have a look.
Okay, so yeah, like I said, I did all my Cartoon Network stuff at once. So my next one is Mac and Blue from Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. Another Cartoon Network show I really liked. From that era of Cartoon Network shows, Foster's might have been my favorite. It was a little later than some of the other Cartoon Network shows. Not as late as Adventure Time and Regular Show. I think it was a little before Chowder and Flapjack, but during its time, I was like, this was a really good like new cartoon, which I thought was cool. I did Mac and Blue together because I don't know, it's one of those characters I feel like you could do both of them. I don't think you want I feel like if you put Blue in, you're not going to do Mac. If you put Mac in, you're not going to do Blue. Like you almost have to put them together or just do one. So I put them together. Yeah, I was just a fan of the show and would like to see some Foster's representation here. The only other thing I really have to say about it is, does anybody else think it's weird that they made that If movie and it's like really similar to Foster's?
Yeah, it was my first thought when I heard what the premise was. I was like, huh.
So the premise made me think like, oh, this is kind of like Foster's. That's weird. Oh well, I could see more than one person coming up with that though. But do you know what the main imaginary friend's name is in If?
Blue.
It's blue.
Is it? Oh,
And you
is
know
it
what
really? Wow.
It's,
Why? What?
Yes.
The funny thing is, he's not even blue, he's purple.
Yeah, he's
Yeah, I was gonna point that out.
And he's voiced by Steve Carell.
Like, what? Did they have a colorblind person in the naming department?
But if you look at Foster's, he's not only is he purple, he's like a big purple monster.
Yeah.
And one of the main characters of Foster's is Eduardo, who's a big purple monster. I feel like I think it's made by like what's his name from Jim from The Office.
Yeah.
What,
Yeah.
what kind of
John
freaking
Krasinski.
crossover episode
Yeah.
is this?
I feel like he like maybe saw Foster's and like forgot about it, and then like when you like feel like you came up with an idea and then you realize, oh, I didn't come up with that. Like that was something I already
just
saw.
sits
I feel
in the
like
back of his mind.
Yeah, I feel like he was sitting in the back of his mind. And he goes, "Yeah, the main character could be blue, and I have this. What should I design myself? This big purple thing. Like that'll be cool. Like I feel like it's just this weird. Yeah, I don't know. So okay, I'm getting off topic again, but
$7 billion into post-production, and somebody's just like, "Hey, John, we got a problem."
yeah, this exists. Like what we're making actually already exists.
Just look straight at the camera.
You're like so excited. You're like, "Oh man, this movie's gonna be great. We got this Darth Vader guy. We're gonna fight Luke Skywalker. We got $1 million put in. It's like nobody's ever done this before. It's gonna be crazy." And people are like,
We're gonna call it Big Space Fight.
Yeah, space battle.
Space
Space battles.
Space Battle 2: A New Legacy.
Lord of the Circular Object.
The not living anymore star. This is gonna be great.
All right, Aiden, what have you got up next?
Let's see.
Hey.
Yeah.
I knew someone would have this.
It's a living cartoon character. Like, what else can you do? He can turn his hands into guns. He can turn into a tornado. I'd like a move where he shakes maracas. Like, there's so much alt potential from the first movie alone. I didn't even really look into the animated series or Son of the Mask or
the video game on Super Nintendo.
True. There's
The
also
comic book too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know if they can pull from the comic book because it's
Dark
Horse. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the
But,
movie
like-
they can.
Yeah.
He was in Space Jam too, so he's on the table.
Yeah, but don't forget about everybody's favorite movie, Son of the Mask.
I remember when Space Jam 2 first got leaked, and there was a rumor that the team they were going up against was like old school movie villains. And it was
Yeah,
gonna be,
I remember that.
Joker and the Wicked Witch and Voldemort, and
That
the
would've been cool.
referee was going to be the Mask because he's not a villain and a toon, and I'm like, that's cool.
That's smart.
That is
That would have been way better.
That would have
That
been
would have been way better than Don Cheadle.
Also, keep in mind, The Mask also had a TV series, apparently.
Yes,
Yeah.
it did, yeah. Another one of those had a cartoons.
Wait, how come underrelated they have The Mask, Son of the Mask, and Ace Ventura?
Because Jim
Jim
Carrey.
Carrey.
Jim Carrey. But
Why
why?
isn't everything else listed?
That's a good point.
Well,
See also Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
Why? So speaking of Son of the Mask, there was a really weird time period where they made a bunch of Jim Carrey movie sequels that didn't have Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
And that was
Yeah.
one of them. That was just a weird time.
he just refusing to come back for these. They're like, well, we got to make sequels though. They did. Everyone loves The Mask.
Yeah, they had to make those sequels though. There was no other option.
Gun to head. All right, Huff, what you got?
Okay, well, you see, we have the past man. Now we need the future woman.
Oh, what?
Okay, they won on the show. I didn't know what to do. So I just ripped the model from RoboCop. Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Rosie the robot from the Jetsons. I feel like you could make a really interesting moveset just based on robot tropes and just cleaning. Like, just made stuff like what they did with the cleaning.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, like the
I think
cleaning
that's a good
enemy from
option.
Kirby? That.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the sweeping enemy. Yeah, I think this is a good option for the Jetsons. I considered the Jetsons at one point, and I was just like, I'm not sure what you do that's not like Marvin the Martian type stuff.
Like,
but Rosie's
I considered it, and I was like, wow, George would be boring as fuck.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then I thought about Rosie, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's actually a fun idea.
Like a cleaning moveset too, like vacuums.
Yep.
And like there's so much cool stuff you could do with that.
Like, it just fit. You've got all the sound effects from classic Hanna-Barbera to go with it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I feel like that
right
blending. I feel like that blending of like a cleaning type kit and a robot kit, like with, is just very interesting to me. I just like it.
Up tilt's a feather duster, forward tilt is laser eyes.
And then for back throw, she pulls out a gun.
Classic
just a
cleaning
regular Tommy gun.
Yeah, no, that's a good choice. I see someone in the chat just say, I hope that they add King Kong. Well, you're in luck.
Funny.
Funny monkey noise. Go. I saw someone also earlier say Rampage, and I didn't actually include anything from Rampage, but you could also do the Rampage monkey instead of Kong.
Yeah, I consider George from Rampage, or I was like, why would they go with that when they could do King Kong?
Yeah, I was thinking,
like, if they're
more giant
if they
characters.
do anything from Rampage, it's the one that's not a lizard or the monkey, because Godzilla and
Ralph the Wolf.
Yeah, Ralph, that's his name.
Yeah, no, I was just like, big funny monkey. It plays exactly like Donkey Kong, but it's just a realistic gorilla instead. Big monkey noises. He can be Iron Giant size, so we get another giant character in. And like, with the movie that's just come out as well, it's fairly relevant as King Kong.
I'd love a move where, like, biplanes come in, tiny biplanes, and start shooting, and he ducks.
Yeah. And yeah, it's a good point. If they really wanted to go crazy, he's got the axe. He has the rocket punch or whatever from the new movie.
I forgot they gave him the Infinity Gauntlet.
They could just do a whole bunch of crazy stuff. But
Didn't they give him a battle axe too?
Yeah, battle axe.
Godzilla's like spike battle axe though, right? So they'd have to get the rights. I think WB does do like a lot of Godzilla stuff, and Toho's pretty cool with it. But
yeah,
that axe, I believe, is probably partially Godzilla ownership or something.
Isn't copyright fun?
It's great.
But yeah, big realistic monkey. Get him in there.
Also, like historical too. Like I mean, when you look at Warner Brothers historically, like King Kong as a movie is, huge.
It's one of the big movies of all time. It's a classic. All right, Genos, what have you got next? Let's have a look.
Okay, yeah. So I'm still on Cartoon Network because, like I said, I had to give a lot of spots to Cartoon Network. That was like the first thing I did. I sat down. I was like, I want to do all my favorite Cartoon Network shows, and then realized that gives you very little room to put other things in. So good stuff. But yeah, no, another one I absolutely love from Cartoon Network, Courage the Cowardly Dog. If you didn't get in Punch Time Explosion, let's get him in here. Because Courage is great. I loved Courage. It's my brother's favorite Cartoon Network shows are Courage and Ed, Edd and Eddy. So I wanted to get both those in here for him, and also just I love it. The animation was awesome, hilarious show. It had a crossover already with Scooby Doo, so kind of works with Multiversus having Scooby Doo characters here. So yeah, and Courage has awesome moveset potential too. All the weird stuff that's in that show, he pulls things out, all the time. Just like giant. He's that. What do they call it? There's a word for that. Toon space or something, where they like pull things out.
Yeah.
Hammer space.
Hammer space.
That's the word. That's just called Hammer space. So he has that all the time in the show and stuff. All his crazy expressions, like literally him being scared, can be an attack.
Yeah, similar to the Bazinga button, you can have a scream type of
Yeah,
it just
you can have him
the
just
person away.
Fun fact. Hey, Courage the Cowardly Dog can scream hard enough to break the moon.
I think that did happen, right?
Yeah.
And then I'd love to see on that note, the Middle of Nowhere as a stage with like callbacks to lots of the villains and stuff from the show would be really cool too.
Eustace just sitting in the chair in the background,
refusing
to move.
Eustace is a pickup about Like him in his chair reading the newspaper. It's a pick-upable item.
Just pick it up and throw it.
Nope,
Nope, I'm not
still
getting
not
out
getting
of this chair.
God damn it.
Eustace is my favorite character from the show, and I nearly went with Eustace, but the thing with that was that, kind of like you guys are saying, he doesn't do much. Like, Courage
What are
is
you
the
talking
active
about?
one.
He can get his mallet.
Yeah, he's got his mallet.
He has a few things for
Doesn't
sure.
he have a
but-
shotgun in one episode?
This is completely off topic, but I'm pretty sure there's a Eustace Steam Workshop character for the Rivals of Aether that's really good.
Really?
There's
I
also
stand
a
corrected.
Eustace mod for King Dedede in Smash.
I'll have to find it at some point, but it's really good.
Nice.
Nice. All
But
right.
I went with Courage. I mean, he's the main character. Yeah, I feel like the moveset potential is probably the best out of the three main characters. So, there you go. That's mine.
All right. Aiden, let's see what you've got up
Let's
next.
see.
Hey,
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, baby.
I should have swapped the mask at Austin Powers, but I didn't know where you were putting
Yeah,
yours.
yeah, no. And I didn't check anyone, so...
What else can be said? It's Austin Powers.
That's right. I like what you've done with the icon for that.
Thank you. I had a lot of fun doing the backgrounds for the icons, so
Yeah. I like doing that at times. It's just, when you're doing something like this, it's nice to have them be uniform, you know?
oh yeah.
Yeah. Although I also had Austin Powers have a weird background in mind.
Yeah.
Needed to get
Yeah,
that
yeah, you do.
60s vibe going.
I mean, he's like that, right? Like, he's gaudy. Like, there's no way he would
Yeah.
look at his character icon and be like, no, you gotta jazz that up. Like,
Yeah.
All the fun has to be in the animations. The moves themselves can be whatever, but it's all in the delivery of the animation for me.
For sure.
hmm.
Alright, well, we can jump straight to you then, Huff. What have you got next?
Full transparency, this character was not here until I decided to do the bit.
Okay.
Okay.
Then let's have a look. You really needed a character, so it had to be someone in Family Guy now.
No, look at the previous two.
Fred,
We got
Rosie.
old friends and new friends and
Oh.
Eve and a bear.
God damn it. That's good. Okay, you know what? You can have that one.
3 reps for Cleveland show, is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Yogi, I kind of don't have much to say about. I've been watching Jellystone recently.
So
good
good.
show. That show's really good.
Yeah, I think so as well. It's hard to watch over here in the UK, but from what I've seen, what I have been managed to watch, it's been really enjoyable.
Yeah, me and Aiden have been quoting at each other whenever we see each other. I'm Top Cat. I'm Top Cat. So, yeah, unfortunately, I don't have much to say about Yogi because he's just kind of a bear who steals picnic baskets. But he has so much content to pull from that I feel like there's no issue getting a moveset made, you know?
Well, he is smarter than the average bear.
You know what? Fair, he is.
He is.
He's always breaking into the waitress's hair or something. I forget.
I think the first thing that came to mind when Yogi came up was like using a link of sausages as like a whip.
I like that.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
He uses a whip to drag. Okay, no, it's like a lasso move where he catches them, pulls them into his mouth. Means he's eating the sausages as he pulls them in.
It's just that Simpsons gag where they maul Ranger Smith.
Yeah.
All right,
you're up.
My
man.
next one. Woo woo woo.
Why are there like okay?
Gotta get him in. They literally made a Smash Brothers parody in the latest episode. From that point on, Multiversus would be silly to not put Gwimbly.
Okay, I don't want to spoil it, but I'm going to. Hey, Nan.
Yeah.
Because you did this, Gwibbly is officially the character on the most of these.
I knew it.
Hell yeah, I knew it was gonna happen.
I didn't do Gwibbly specifically because I thought that he would be on everyone else's.
Yeah. Ew.
He was literally the first character. After Sheldon, he was the second character I added to this list.
Yeah.
Because it was
He
gonna
doesn't
happen.
do his iconic Gwimbly dance for nothing. only $5. Okay,
Swear
maybe
to
he'll do
God,
one
if I
for
had my
free.
Gwimbly gun.
Maybe I'll do it again.
I swear to God, America has a fucking fentanyl problem.
Character's literally been in like one episode and has like taken over the internet. And there's like so many, it's a really good bit, and there's loads of fake video game promotional stuff that people have made. Been like, oh, I remember playing Gwimbly 3.
There's like already a mod for him. Okay. The day after the episode came out, there was a mod for Mario Kart for him.
Nice.
That's like the best part about it is that everyone collectively is just like in on, yes, we're going to pretend Gwimbly is a real thing, and like it exists. Like
he's the Scrimblow Bimblow.
Yeah. It's true. So they'd be silly to not include him. I think at some point. He's probably not in this initial patch because he's so new, but I think he'll happen eventually.
I mean, we got Banana Guard, right?
Exactly.
Like it's actually not that crazy to think Smiling Friends could get Gwimbly as their rep. It's actually possible.
All right, let's see what you got next, Genos.
So my next character, again, Cartoon Network, still not done with it because it takes up a big chunk of this, is Whatcha? Samurai Jack.
Nice. Back in the
gotta get back. Back to the past.
The foolish samurai warrior.
Yeah, so Samurai Jack seems like inevitable. I know there's been a lot of, I think there was like even data mines that showed some Samurai Jack stuff. That trailer we just got had his sword, I think, in it. People spotted, so he's almost certainly coming. But as far as like Cartoon Network characters go, Samurai Jack's one of my favorite shows from Cartoon Network. It was really cool that they did an action cartoon instead of just like a straight up joking cartoon. And just, I mean, the fact that it is an action cartoon, of course, works so well for a fighting game. So I feel like everybody's on board with wanting Samurai Jack. So yeah. I don't have too much else to say besides that. I mean, his moveset potential is cool. We actually in Smash Brothers, like we don't really have a samurai. I know there's like
they're holding out for Takamaru. Yeah, they're just waiting. Yeah. They're holding that place for him to eventually get added.
Right, but like a samurai character as a a platform fighting game character, something I think people wanted to see for a while, and Samurai Jack fills that obviously to a T. So yeah, I want to see Jack.
Yeah, it's still hilarious to me that in Punch Time Explosion, he is explicitly just a Marth ripoff. Like, it's not even, like, subtle.
Really?
He's just
Does he have a tipper and everything? Like, is it all...
No, but almost all of his aerials are the same.
Oh, really? Okay. Maybe they just were, like, lazy and they were like, well, we can just do this.
It's just a sword guy. We'll just give him the sword guy moveset.
Nobody's going to talk about this game in 14 years.
No, of course not. Who would be doing that?
So I try to avoid doing any of the leaked or rumored characters for that I'd heard of anyway. And I had heard about Jack, but I definitely would have had Jack on my list otherwise. Because, he just seems like an obvious pick.
I try not to have that influence my choices. Like, my choices are not just, it's a bunch of characters I think are going to happen. That's, but I did want to do all the Cartoon Network shows that are, like, my favorite, and Samurai Jack is one of my favorites, so,
Fair.
To put it bluntly, I also wanted to avoid that. I only did, like, 2 of them just because, like, this is supposed to be representative of what I want, and I would want them. And, I also, low-key, I'm kind of disappointed with the, announcement trailer that they did, like, last week Monday, because one of the characters I had on my list was on there because I knew about them preemptively, and I wanted to be like, "Hey, Agent Smith is coming," and then they reveal, I'm like, "Fuck,
Mr. Anderson."
It was the only one that didn't leak.
Yeah, and then it leaked like in the dumbest way too. It leaked because they put tags on their YouTube video.
Yeah,
which is so on them. Like,
that's such a stupid way to leak.
Yeah, like
it's really. It is the exact way I expect it to leak though.
Given how the marketing has been going for Multiversus,
yeah.
All right, Aiden, let's gear up.
Yeah, let's see.
Hey,
Space Ghost.
All
right,
nice.
You 2-bit chicken McNugget.
I envisioned it as, well, first off, I've been watching a lot of Space Ghost and Brack Show lately, so that definitely influenced it. I was imagining that it would kind of be like the majority of the moveset would take inspiration from the original show, but the voice and taunts and costumes and such would all be very coast to coast. I'd love a taunt where like he just plops a desk in front of him and just starts like waxing poetic. But like he's got the wristbands that shoot lasers. He can turn invisible to like teleport.
I dig that because he's like even on Coast to Coast, like he was still supposed to be Space Ghost. Like
Yeah.
you know, he still has all those powers. Like
I'd love if like he just randomly has the monkey sidekick. Just throws. It's not Gleek, that's Super Friends. Blip, that's the name of it. But yeah, I don't have much else to say aside from I really like Space Ghost, so he was the first one I added.
that's classic, like Adult Swim too.
Yeah.
Like we only have, I think, Rick and Morty from Adult Swim right now.
Adult Swim was the one that I came up with the most ideas for, which surprised me.
We're gonna get Gwimbly, so that'll be another Adult Swim
True.
choice.
Yeah. I like the definitive. We are going to get Gwimbly.
Yeah, like, hey, anybody from Player First Games, get on the Gwimbly bandwagon. It's Gwimbly time, baby.
It's Gwimbly time. Alright. Shall we go on to yours then, Huff?
Unfortunately, this is the character I have absolutely the least to say about, because I did this just because I know people that worked on the show. That's it.
Cool.
I haven't watched the show, and I just did it per request. So, hey, Lion-O from Thundercats, the extent of my knowledge on him is from the episode of Death Battle they made like a decade ago.
Yeah, I have not seen Thundercats either, so I don't know anything about... I've seen him, but I don't know anything about Lion-O.
Yeah, if anybody has something to say about him, go ahead, because I just know him as funny sword cat guy.
I remember watching a few episodes of the 2011 reboot, like back when it was on Cartoon Network, because that was right when I was watching everything else. But I did not retain much from it.
I was at the old 80s one, honestly. Like, I actually almost put Lion-O on my my list of characters. He's not, but I really like the old 80s one because it had that... I think it's the same animation studio, Rankin Bass. That
Yes,
did
it was.
Yeah, they did the Hobbit and Return of the King cartoons and Last Unicorn, and I loved it. Like it's a really gritty animation style, and I loved that. The enemy designs in original Thundercats are really cool. I know there was like I don't know if it was 2011. I thought it was earlier than that. There was one reboot that was like anime. They did another reboot that was like cartoony. And
Yeah,
I never really
there was
watched...
like a 2012-ish reboot. That's the one that I know people that worked on.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then there's a newer one that is just, hey, what if Teen Titans Go, but furry edition?
Yeah, I've seen pictures of that one. Yeah,
I've heard that it's okay, but like...
Animation-wise, it feels so far removed from like what Thundercats was.
All I remember is that they had an episode of Teen Titans Go where they crossed over with the new Thundercats reboot, and they had original Lion-O from the 80s show with the original voice actor show up and say, "This is the definitive version of Thundercats now. Nobody can be upset about it."
I will get, like, I'm not a big fan of Teen Titans Go and that new whatever animation style stuff. However, I will give them a lot of credit for how much they just relentlessly don't care. Yeah, relentlessly just like attack the fans in that way. At first I was like annoyed by it, but they really stuck to their guns, and I'm like, all right, I gotta give you some credit for...
There was an episode or something where the crossover was like a sign for like a pediatrician that's in California somewhere by their studio, and they got the rights to use the mascot for the like doctor's office, and it's like a angry foot. And it's just like they're just doing this because they're bored and they want to have fun. Like, I can't hate that.
Yeah,
I mean, I already mentioned Teen Titans Go See Space Jam as this weird fever dream of a thing that exists. So, you know, I have to at least acknowledge that they're putting some really weird stuff out there into the world, and that's got to count for something.
Yeah, I like Teen Titans Go well enough. It's one of those series that I think is good, but you can't really watch too much of because it's a bit much, you know. And to put it bluntly, I did originally have this idea where so you know how like there's like the DC brand in Multiversus where it's more so based on like the animated series, right?
Yeah.
And that's pretty much in line with the comics. So like a lot of those series kind of blend together tonally because they're just very similar. So originally at one point I had Teen Titans Go, Raven, and The only other series that comes to mind that is like very distinct from like that archetype, which was Super Friends Aquaman.
Oh.
So just let it be known, there is a timeline where Super Friends Aquaman and Teen Titans Go Raven were on mine.
I do personally think, just on that note, that if they do continue to do DC characters, I do think they're all going to be in that same vein, that style. They did show in that relaunch trailer like the Titans Tower, and it was very Teen Titans Go. But my assumption is that like it'd be a bridge.
Like,
yeah.
Well, I think the stage is going to be Teen Titans Go themed, but I think if we get like a Teen Titans Go character, I think they're going to be more standard DC with Wonder Woman and Batman and Superman. I think they're going to probably fit in with the rest of
unless they pull like a Toon Link type situation. They have like Raven and then like Raven Go.
I said, I think Teen Titans Go and Super Friends are the only series that are like super distinct to the point where like you could use them without it being like, this is Aquaman, this is Raven.
Mm-hmm. It's a side thing. My main reason for thinking they're going to keep it standardized though is because there's so much of this game is about the skins and the cosmetics and like putting them on the characters and selling that. So like if you do Raven, you do Teen Titans Go Raven, there's costumes from Teen Titans Go, but if you just do Raven. You can do the comics, you can do like there's just way more stuff.
True.
I'm going to put a pin in it because I have to talk about that later.
Okay. All right, well, we'll go on to mine. And because I already dipped my toes into the TV sitcom, I couldn't just leave it at one. So we got Will Smith next.
Yes!
Nice.
From the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
I like how you just did Will Smith and not the Fresh Prince.
So he's called Will in the show. It's Will Smith.
Spinning chair, neutral air.
Oh my god!
That little head shake he does at the beginning of the show, like when he gets to the door, he like shakes his head like Kanepi is like up attack or something.
It's up tilt.
So like Fresh Prince is like what might be like the most famous sitcom they've ever made. Friends would be like probably the only competitor, and I did consider putting the entire cast of Friends as an icon. A singular fighter.
Why would Ross, the strongest friend, not simply eat the others?
It could be worse. I was considering doing the Property Brothers.
When I did Will Smith, because Fresh Prince is such a huge thing, and I think like Will Smith's like such a character in that show. And there's a lot of wacky scenarios he gets up into that I think could be pulled from. And if they did LeBron James, I think like they can just get away with doing real people here.
Yeah, real people are definitely on the table, and I totally agree that Will Smith is Will Smith in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air anyway, is that like cartoony enough character, like he's a character enough, that it works here.
And it works.
Totally agree.
Yeah, so I went for that one. All right, are you still on Cartoon Network then, Genos?
Yes, yeah. Like I said, it takes up a big chunk of mine. And I'll say I'm not trying to just go for characters that everybody thinks is going to happen or leaked or been hinted at or whatever. But my next one is another character that is which is Marceline from Adventure Time.
Yeah.
So this was a tough one. I almost took her off, but I really like Adventure Time. Like if Adventure Time wasn't already in the game, would be one of my number one like choices, and they just got Banana Guard, so like it's hard for me to say I want a fourth Adventure Time character when other things don't have I don't want it to become Fire Emblem. So I'm kind of hoping Marceline's a little down the line. Maybe we get like Scooby, so we have 3 Scooby-Doo characters. Maybe I don't know, just a few other things could maybe hit 3 before we get this. But personally, I instead of Banana Guard, I would have just done Marceline next. I think moves. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I said in I said a few times in the Discord server, like I think Banana Guard is a good choice for like a character in terms of moveset and idea. Like it's a good bit, and no press is bad press. But I think that just the timing for it was the issue, because like there are so many characters from Adventure Time that people want, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
And the thing that I brought up was, I personally believe, out of everything that WB has done, Adventure Time is probably their biggest new IP in like the past decade or so.
As far as like
that isn't based on something.
Yeah, as far as like a franchise that's really taken off and is literally just a new idea in the last like decade or so.
I think them pushing it is totally fine. I'm fine with that, and it's also just a good show.
Yeah.
I'm a huge Adventure Time fan, and I do really like Marceline as a character too. Like, I think she has awesome moveset potential. She was one of my favorite characters from the show and everything. I definitely wanted to see her. It's really just Banana Guard that makes this one a tough, like, choice for me to put on my list. But I was trying not to be influenced too much by. There's like two things that almost had me take this off. One was that she's kind of a lead character and stuff, and then two, that Adventure Time already has a lot of characters, but that doesn't mean I don't want her in the game. And I wouldn't be really
remember, the plan for Multiverse is for it to just go on for like ever, so they're bound to add another Adventure Time character at some point.
Right, and that's the cool thing with Multiverses too, is that that like, oh, they took a spot from your character, kind of goes away when the game is an indefinite live service game, which is cool. Like, I do like that. However, it does also mean that, like, if we have 3 Adventure Time characters now at an early stage of the game, how many more are we going to get? How quickly, does become kind of like I don't want to get Marceline and Ice King and Lumpy Space Princess and Princess Bubblegum before, we get some of these other Cartoon Network shows just represented in the game. I don't want too much of one thing. So.
It really is just a positioning thing, like timing. And something really dumb, me and Aiden were talking about it. I'm like, man, I kind of want to do Marceline. And I'm like, the problem I have with her is that she can't come out in the sun because, vampire.
Yeah.
And then Aiden said, and I quote, "Hey, you do know that the same thing applies to the gremlins, right?" And my response, and I quote, is, and I'm getting a screenshot, is, "No, I'm unaware of that. Family Guy only mentioned the other 2 rules."
So, we already have Gizmo, so it's not like whatever.
Yeah, I think they'll just ignore that rule.
I didn't realize it was a thing.
I think, and plus, Adventure Time has had her, like, she wears the big sun hat, or I think they've mentioned like sunscreen and stuff. If you like, they've kind of, it's not like instant death. Like, I don't know,
ways to get Marceline just out there for a specific story.
Yeah.
Cool. Aiden, let's see what you've got up next. The Flash.
So, this is my favorite DC character, and I think that there's a lot of moveset potential for them. Like, Super Speed is just a super cool ability, and I really think that I don't know, it's just like, there's so many different abilities that they have. Wait, hey, could you drag the next icon on? That one's Ron. There we go.
I was wondering why there were 2.
There's my favorite DC character. So,
you bored?
Yeah, it was me, Barry. Real though, I love the Flash. But honestly, the reason that I really want the Flash is for the Reverse Flash premium skin that would inevitably happen alongside it. So I just put Reverse Flash on here. It's my favorite DC villain.
Do you want me to keep Reverse Flash on?
Yeah, you can keep Reverse Flash on there. It's funny. It was between him or Scarecrow, and for reasons that will be revealed later, I did not want to do Scarecrow. Also, like, we're gonna get 15 more Batman characters, so.
So I know nothing about the Flash. I don't read DC comics, really. I mean, I don't read them at all. Batman's basically the only one I know, anything I know from DC. So all I think of when I see Reverse Flash is that he's very slow. Instead.
No, that's the Turtle, which is
that's the Turtle. That is a different Flash villain.
Yeah, and he has... Barry Allen has the Speed Force, whereas... The turtle has the slow force.
Jesus. They're both their own distinct flavors of hell.
Yeah, I think the Flash area of DC Comics is probably the dumbest category.
I truly recommend the CW Flash show, because
really good.
The first 3 seasons are great, and like season 1 is Reverse Flash as the main villain, and it's just so fun. And then it just goes off the rails by the end of the show. Like, I'm pretty sure the final season has them using lightning bolts as lightsabers.
Why not?
I like the idea of the Flash getting in Multiversus too, because you can kind of do that thing with like Sonic and Smash, where he is the fastest character, and you kind of set that limit with the character. I think that's good. That would be cool, because I don't see how you put him in and don't make him the fastest character, obviously.
Yeah. Wait until Speedy Gonzalez shows up.
Ooh, or that. Ooh.
All right, what have you got up then, Huff? Let's have a look.
Yeah, to put it bluntly, this character I was gonna drop because they were revealed as a stage hazard, but I just didn't want to do it. So we got Mojo Jojo.
Nice.
Yeah, Mojo Jojo he'd be fun. He'd be like kind of a Marvin the Martian type character where he ends up damaging himself because his incompetence. And he's a funny monkey.
He is a funny monkey.
He's
funny
a
monkey with big brain.
Yeah, that's currently spilling out, apparently.
I don't think the stage hazard totally counts him out. Like, that's probably how they want to get him in the game for now. For sure. Like, I would say it'd be a while if they
counts
ever
him out for
that.
now.
Yeah. Wasn't Banana Guard like a summon or something?
Yeah, he was an assist in the beta.
Was he?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
He's like an assist trophy item character.
I'll take your word for it.
They only had 2 assist trophies, and they were both Adventure Time characters.
Yeah, like that's kind of why I think they did Banana Guard. Like, the vibes I got from Banana Guard was the same vibes I get when like Smash fan modders upgrade an assist trophy, like the Knuckles mod in. It's like I know the only reason this is here is because they already made a model of Knuckles in the game, so you can just redo it.
Yeah,
they might have pyrosphered Mojo Jojo for the moment, but the fact he has voice lines, to me, it shows like they know people care about this character enough that they put in the effort to like hire the original voice actor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I would not be surprised if there was some future proofing involved.
Yeah, I almost feel like they almost wanted to do Mojo Jojo, but we're like, I mean, like we're talking about, this game has such a huge pool of characters, and it's like, well, do we do the Powerpuff Girls or do we do Mojo Jojo? It's like, well, we do the Powerpuff Girls, but do we wait years down the line to get Mojo in the game? Let's get him in a stage at least. Let's at least
do something
now. Yeah, in some form.
Low-key, I kind of prefer him to the Powerpuff Girls again.
I need to see how they handle the 3-in-1 character before I make a proper decision.
I was just assuming that they'd be 3 similar characters, like Pyramithra, or they would just be 3 separate characters.
Guess we'll
we'll have
to wait and see what they do with them. But I do think they're all going to be linked together, whether that's swapping out or fighting as as 3 as 1 or something. Like it's going to be something like that for sure. I don't think they're going to be Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup as 3 different spots on the roster.
My initial thought was, back when the game was in beta, I thought they were going to do something with the perks where, like, depending on which perk you equip is whichever Powerpuff Girl you are.
Oh, that'd be cool. That'd be cool.
I feel like that's a cool way to implement the perks into the gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
And just have it be... Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I've heard something similar for Ben 10, because Ben 10 has so many things you can transform into, and obviously the perks, they continue to roll out new perks for characters. Like, that's a thing for this game. So it's something you could do with Ben 10. Like, that could be his gimmick, is that, he really, really relies on what perk loadout, you put on him, because it's going to be what aliens you can turn into.
I think with the Powerpuff Girls, it's sort of, because they're all like the same shape, like, it's really easy to do. You have the same basic hitboxes and models and stuff over them and swap between them for whatever reason.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just been how that changes the movesets. They've all got individual powers. Alright, anyway, we'll go to my next one. And it was... Oh, whoops. How did that get there? Just gonna...
Good bit.
Just gonna change that. My mistake. Yeah, we already talked about Wily. So we don't have to stay very long.
I kind of stole your thunder on that one.
It's alright.
I'm starting to think maybe I shouldn't have tagged player first games.
No, yeah, I thought using all the Acme stuff that Wily has would be a good use. Would make him an interesting moveset. So I wanted him to be my other Looney Tunes character. I think these are the only 2 Looney Tunes characters I have on here. But yeah, We already talked mostly about him.
I want it to be known I'm an idiot. I looked back at the stream and I saw Wile E. Coyote and Will Smith, and then you said the 2 Looney Tunes characters. I'm like, wait, wait a minute, what? What the fuck are you talking about? Okay, continue.
Okay, anyway, we're back on your next one, Genos.
Okay, cool. Yeah, this is my last of the like normal Cartoon Network, not counting Adult Swim and other things that have been on Cartoon Network.
Yeah.
But my last of the cartoons, Cartoon Network cartoons, which is Mordecai and Rigby from Regular Show. As far as again, I call this the newer Cartoon Network shows, even though I believe we are over a decade since this came out. Yeah, I really liked Adventure Time and I really liked Regular Show. Those were among the newer cartoons that actually kind of pulled me back into watching Cartoon Network regularly for both those shows. And this is also one where, like, sort of like the Eds, I put Mordecai and Rigby here because I didn't really want to choose just one of them. But if it was just Mordecai or just Rigby, or they got 2 spots, I'm fine with that. I don't need to necessarily have them as a 2-in-1 character. But if they were a 2-in-1 character, I also wouldn't be mad at that either. So, I leave them open. Open for that.
For Regular Show, I had Muscle Man on mine for a little bit, but I cut him for a bit, just because I think Muscle Man would be funny.
He's hilarious. Yeah.
Shout out to the Twitter account, Muscle Man for Multiversus. That account's very funny.
Yeah, they're great. They really play it up.
Like, I saw them post the fucking hollow purple JJK thing, and I don't fucking spit my tea out.
I remember I initially had an idea where Muscle Man's recovery move would be him spinning his t-shirt so fast that it works like a helicopter.
That's his recovery. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
his signature special is making a My Mom joke, and it gives him a buff.
It's a counter.
Yeah.
It's a counter. If you hit him, you make a Your Mom joke, and he gets pissed.
You know who else hits me?
You know who else beats me on a daily basis?
I didn't mean for it to go in that direction.
All right, and
Anyway.
Gina's going to say.
Just the moveset potential for Mordecai and Rigby is really good too. The show had a lot of really cool, like, they did a great job of taking mundane things and like ramping it up to 11. Like, that was like a huge part of the show. And I would love to see a lot of that as a moveset. Some people also, so like the trailer we got, like the relaunch trailer, obviously had a lot of hints towards characters. I don't think you could watch it and not notice a couple of the hints towards like future characters or future things they want to do for the game anyway. And there were, on the WB lot stage, there were golf carts. I think they were just there because it's a movie lot. Like,
yeah, it's just a movie lot. That's how they move.
Right. So some people were saying like, oh, is this a hint at Regular Show? I personally think it's just for the movie lot, but I wanted to throw that controversy out there just because I've heard discussion of it.
Just get it out.
Yeah. The only other thing I really have to say here is that this is the end of my Cartoon Network spots, and I nearly put Johnny Bravo in. Johnny Bravo is probably the one other Cartoon Network show that isn't in the game yet that I'd really like to see in the game, but Johnny didn't quite make the cut just because I think his moveset potential isn't quite as good as these other characters.
I didn't include Johnny either, and I did think about him. I thought, I mean, this was probably for the original Multiversus before it relaunched, but I thought he was one of the rumored characters for it, so I sort of avoided him.
The original leak for Multiversus that like was just before we even knew the game, it definitely existed. Had a list of characters and it had like Mad Max and Fred Flintstone, and Johnny Bravo was one of the ones on that.
Yeah, I think that's what I remembered, and I wasn't sure how valid that was anymore.
It seems not valid anymore, but would still be cool to get him.
Before Jason got revealed and we got that initial character select screen from the Rift video, everybody was guessing it was either Jason Voorhees or Johnny Bravo, which is the funniest options you could choose between the two characters.
I mean, they're both as wide as each other.
They're the same character. They're both wide, they're both buff, and they both love their moms.
That's very true.
That's very true, yes.
Yeah, I didn't realize the mom thing.
Johnny Bravo skin for Jason when. All right,
yeah, I saw a poll between Jason and Johnny during that, like, day or two where it was like, what's the J character going to be on the character select screen? And it was 50-50, the poll I saw. So it was like, wow. People were really not sure at that point, which is cool.
All right, and let's see what you got next.
Yeah.
Plastic Man.
Yeah, he's my favorite DC superhero. I just think it's a super fun moveset. He can kind of shape-shift his body into different things. He can have Dalzim normals. It's just a really fun character, and it's one that I really wish that... I've wanted him in Injustice. I wanted him in every chance there is for a DC fighting game. I just really like Plastic Man. Trying to think. I'd like for him to be voiced by Tom Kenny if possible.
Nice.
Yeah.
Aside from that, I feel like it's kind of self-explanatory with Plastic Man.
Yeah.
I've been watching One Piece, and that's obviously got a stretchy character,
Oh, yeah.
main character, and the moveset potential for a stretching character is endless. So.
Yeah, Plastic Man can also morph himself to be objects, so he can just make hammers.
Yeah. So he's just like Jake, basically, but it's a superhero.
Yeah, I kind of forgot Jake was alright.
All right.
Point still stands, though.
Yeah, point still stands. Let's go to you, Huff. What have you got next?
All right. We interrupt this program to bring you Courage, the Cowardly Dog.
That is cursed.
No, that's
I'm gonna be
Courage.
honest. This was the first one I made after realizing, not every character is gonna be on fucking Family Guy, and then I was like, what if I just edit characters? And it looked awful, and I'm like, I need to do this now.
God. So we expected more edits coming up.
Yeah. Yeah, we talked about Courage. Courage is one of my 3 favorite shows from Cartoon Network. That being It, Looney Tune show, and a show that's going to come up later, so I'm just going to leave that on hold.
Yeah.
And we already talked about Courage. He's great. So I'm just going to throw this back at you, Nan.
Alright, I don't remember what I did next, but I think it's a Cartoon Network one, so let's have a look. It's Animaniacs. Yeah, so
Nice.
I did with the... Ever since they announced Multiversus, I feel like there needed to be something Animaniacs. I mean, they live in the Warner Brothers, water silo after all.
They are the Warner Brothers.
Yeah, exactly. So
And the dog.
And sister.
and sister. So, and they have a stage. I mean, I'm assuming that's an actual stage and wasn't just made for that promotional stuff. So I feel like the Warner they should show up at some point. And I did consider doing them as a trio, but I have a few characters on here already that are like Billy and Mandy that are duo or trio characters. And I think you could justify having all 3 of the Warners as separate characters. Like, I think they do enough stuff. And I think if they were going to pick one to start with, it would be Wacko.
Almost every single one of the potentially 3-in-1 characters that I've thought about or whatever seem to also work as separate characters. It's literally just what they decide to do with them.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Yeah.
So I wanted to vary it up with this one, so I did Wacko on their own. But I think I think they'd be a fun character. And it just feels like they should be here, the Animaniacs, in some form. I mean, there's Pinky and the Brain Balloon as well, I think, in the Multiverses in that same stage. So they clearly reference the series. There's a Yakko balloon. There you go.
Yeah.
But we've not seen Wacko yet, so let's get this because he's a fighter.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. So I don't have much else to say other than that, though. So we can just jump straight to you, Genos. So we're off Cartoon Network now.
Yeah, well, it's
off Cartoon.
Let's
No, just off the block.
Let's
Just
not
off
get
the
too.
time zone.
Let's not to get too hasty here. Because my next one's Adult Swim, so this is my Adult Swim lineup.
Nice.
Speaking of, again, 3-in-1 characters, because there's a bunch of possibilities. I did the Aqua Teen Hunger Force, because that's probably my favorite Adult Swim show that they ever did. And it's one of the older Adult Swim shows too. Like we're talking about Space Ghost, and I think it represents Adult Swim really well. So that's the one I chose.
This is what I always think of when I think of Adult Swim, even though I've never seen this show. But it's just it's just always been the most prominent one. I feel like from Adult Swim of their original.
It is the longest running by far. It has 14 seasons.
If there's a mascot for Adult Swim, I do feel like it's probably Aqua Teen that has stood the test of time and everything. But yeah, I did him as a 3-in-1 character. I almost did Master Shake alone. Actually, I almost did Carl as well. I really like Carl. But I wanted to be semi-realistic here, and I was like, all right, well, I think, moveset-wise, if you have all 3 of them together, Meatwad can transform, Frylock can fly around and shoot lasers out of his eyes, Master Shake exists. You can. No, you can pull stuff from the show though, for sure. But I want to see Aqua Teen on the roster. So far for Adult Swim, we only have Rick and Morty, which is great. Like I like Rick and Morty too, and I'm glad it's here representing Adult Swim for the moment. But if there's like one other Adult Swim show I feel like needs to be here, I think it's Aqua Teen.
Okay, hear me out. They add Carl as a joke character, and he only has one attack. Everything he has is the same, and it's just his walk cycle.
You get hit by him while he's doing it, like
yeah,
he's like invincible while he does that walk cycle.
Like that's the only thing he can do.
Also, yeah, if they do Aqua Teen, I would probably like them to be like poorly animated to some extent.
Yes,
like,
absolutely. That's the if they are well animated, I don't want them.
Right.
Yeah.
I kind of want them like the Wario thing, where Wario kind of just like
jolts.
instantly jolts to like different positions. Like
I would love if like the walk cycle for them is just like static with no movement whatsoever.
Or they just kind of like shake, like as if someone's moving them across the stage, like
like they're being dragged in Photoshop.
Yeah,
exactly. So Aqua Teen. Yeah, there you go.
Yep. Cool. Right, so Aiden, what have you got next? Let's have a look.
Let's see. Zatanna.
Is that how you say that?
No, it's backwards.
Oh, right.
Because Zatanna's whole gimmick is that her spells are backwards.
Oh.
So when she says pots, it really means stop.
Is this a DC character?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
She's she's known for being part of the Justice League Dark team of like all the mystical and like demon characters basically, but she's her whole gimmick is that she's a magician, but she kind of disguises her powers as if she was like a stage magician.
Okay.
Which I think is a really cool gimmick of like she's got like, doves and gold rings attached together, the magic wand, and cutting someone in half. Playing with that basically, but it's all real magic.
Mm-hmm.
So like in between, throwing endless, what's what I'm looking for, handkerchiefs or whatever, there's like an actual fireball or something, or
cool theme
amongst
for
them.
sure, like a definitely unique theme for a character.
I wanted a DC superheroine, and I was like, I didn't want to do a character like Catwoman or Hawkgirl because I feel like they're very basic in what they would do. So I wanted like someone that sticks out as like, oh, that's a cool moveset idea.
Mm-hmm.
What, you don't think Hawkman could be cool?
I think Hawkman can be cool. I just think
don't
he hasn't
lie.
been
Shut
cool.
up! Don't lie.
I don't think he's been cool in 70 years.
I don't think. Hang on. How old is he? I don't think he's been cool since then.
I'm pretty sure he's older. I'm pretty sure he's younger than 70. But
what's the other icon we got here for this?
It's
just expelled.
Yeah, I asked for a regular one just for the final image on Twitter.
I'll leave it reversed then for now.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay,
I don't know anything about this character, so...
Scarlet Witch, imagine that, but more stage show.
Right, okay. Okay, what have you got up then, Huff?
So, I see that PapaGenos decided to go with, the Foolish Samurai Warrior, while I went with the Shape-Shifting Master of Darkness.
Nice.
Aku!
Yeah, that's how I remember Aku looking.
Yeah, that's what he looked like. I just looked up
Yep.
Family Guy demon.
Checks out.
Checks out.
Aku probably had the most inspired moveset out of the characters in Punch Time Explosion, and I was gonna do Jack because I like Jack. I just like the series, but like Aku is just. I think in terms of moveset, he's just way more interesting.
Mm.
Oh yeah, I mean you talked about before how Jack was basically just Marth in Punch Time Explosion.
Yep.
Aku is the moveset potential is endless there. He transforms and all sorts of stuff, and whatever he wants to do basically.
Yeah.
Sure, he's top tier in Punch Time Explosion.
Oh, he's more broken than Mennonite apparently.
He's got short hop Falco laser, if I remember right.
No, he has short hop Falco laser that goes the entire stage.
Oh, cool.
Jesus.
Oh, cool. I mean,
It doesn't stop until it hits the blast zone.
I mean,
And it has better knockback. It's like Kazuya's laser in Smash.
Jeez. He should be very powerful. Like, I mean, he takes over the whole
It's true,
world or universe or whatever. So
no one can get close to him.
Yeah.
He's constantly shot hopping away. Alright, what have I got next? Ace Ventura, talking about Jim Carrey. So this is one I put on sort of last minute. I can't remember what I had before. But Ace Ventura, it's similar to Beetlejuice and the Mask in that it also had a cartoon that they could call upon. And I think like his look is kind of like Ace Ventura's look is kind of iconic. It's like I think what a lot of people think about with Jim Carrey's older movies. And him being an pet detective means you could pull a lot of animals into his moveset.
Side B hippo fight.
Like, especially if you do it from the TV show version of him. I think you could just like have him be like almost like a puppet type fighter, but with animals and various different animals.
I was going to say the side special could be Green Missile, but it's the opening of Ace Ventura 2.
Yeah.
You got to
he fires out of a rhinoceros.
That's how he enters the stage.
You got to do the robot rhino that he like gets birthed out of. Like, you have to do that somewhere.
So I just think the character is another one with like quite a lot of a good design and quite a lot of like dynamic movements where the animations would sell the personality quite a lot. And then using the different animals would be an interesting gimmick that's not yet on the roster.
From Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl had Nigel Thornberry, but he just like mimics animals. He doesn't actually use them. But yeah, Ace Ventura using animals. I agree.
Okay.
Good idea.
Yeah. I think Ace Ventura doing the same thing that they did with Nigel would be infinitely funnier. Because it makes even less sense.
That's how how Jim Carrey moves in general.
It's just Jim Carrey.
We just put him in a mocap suit. That's what he did.
He could be a stance character where he's like sometimes talking with his butt and then sometimes not. That's how he stands.
Alright, Gina, what have you got next?
Okay, so my next one's my last Adult Swim character, and it's Gwimbly, because we all gotta watch Gwimbly. I think we pretty much said what needs to be said about Gwimbly. I almost want to do some of the other Smiling Friends, because I think the show is good. I don't know if it's going to stand the test of time. I kind of feel like it needs maybe be on like season 3 or something before I know for sure.
Right now we have 16 10-minute segments.
Yeah,
right. I think it's real good, but I've seen shows go downhill fast before too, and not.
Yeah, I also watched Rick and Morty.
I want to see how the show stands test of time. But Gwimbly's just like, he was in a fighting game. He was in a platform fighter at the end. Mm-hmm. It's like, you got to do it.
You got to do it.
And then the one other thing I just want to say here is that this is the end of my Adult Swim characters. I almost did Nathan Explosion from Metalocalypse just because I think that show is really good for one thing, but also moveset potential and like a show that could be like a fighting character from Adult Swim shows. I thought would be cool to get Nathan Explosion, but didn't make the cut. I almost didn't even put Gwimbly on here, actually. I think that was a last-minute thing, because some of the other characters I had on mine weren't WB related enough, because I know we're going by that, parameters. But then when I had a spot open, I immediately was like, all right, let's put Gwimbly back on. So he almost wasn't here on mine. He was on my, I made a giant list of, I think I have 50 other characters besides my list here. That almost were on,
almost
my
made the
list of characters. But but Gwimbly made it in. So
yeah, I made a graphic for Geno, so they can post it on their Twitter or use it on their YouTube channel or whatever they want.
That's some of my other runners up that almost made it onto here. But yeah.
All right, let's see what you got next, Aiden.
All right. Okay. So I'm pulling it back. We were talking about how for DC, there's a different kind of... They have a very uniform how they represent characters.
Mm-hmm.
And bringing in... My idea was kind of to bring in characters that represent different shows or areas and kind of making that the base of that character. So my favorite Batman show growing up was Batman the Brave and the Bold. It's very Silver Age based, where it's very campy, very off the walls of just like, here's a bunch of random... Batman will fight aliens, he'll fight giant robots, he teams up with a different hero each episode. So like one time he'll be fighting gorillas with Plastic Man, the next he's under the water with Aquaman. I'm pretty sure there's an episode where he and Red Tornado save Christmas.
That show was very underrated, I feel like.
No.
It was under a lot of people's radar, but it was really good.
It's so good.
It was a really good Batman cartoon. I think besides Batman the Animated Series, that was probably my favorite.
Yeah.
Animated Batman show.
So, I have, if it wasn't obvious by the first row, I have a very big affinity for musical theater. I was a theater kid. And the episode Mayhem of the Music Meister has Music Meister, who's voiced by Neil Patrick Harris from How I Met Your Mother.
Okay.
And his ability is that he mind controls people using his voice. So he takes over the world and, like, you know, hypnotizes superheroes and supervillains to beat the shit out of Batman. And
just to beat the shit out of Batman.
They recently introduced him into the comics, which is kind of surprising considering a musical character doesn't really translate well in literature.
Yeah.
Good point.
But, like, they brought him in with a bunch of other characters. Like, I'm pretty sure he hypnotizes Mossy Manos from the Teen Titans show. But, like, I don't know. I think he's neat.
So it's sort of like a Harley Quinn thing, because she starts in the Batman animated series, and they then need to canonize their, in the comics and everything.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was, like, him, Mossy Manos, and Red X from Teen Titans that all showed up.
Cool.
But, no, his whole gimmick would basically be... He's got a staff that shoots music sheets. Like, he shoots the notes, he shoots the lines. It'd be a fun gimmick. He's got a motorbike that's shaped like a half note. And obviously, like, there's a whole... Characters in Multiversus already have gimmicks about singing, like Garnet and Gizmo do, so I feel like you could play around with that as, like, a neutral special or something. And the other thing is that he changes outfits nearly every scene. He's never in the same outfit for more than, like, 30 seconds. So, the alternate costume potential is out of the roof. There's a Phantom of the Opera outfit. There's, like, a punk rock outfit. I'm sure he dresses as Elvis at one point. There's a disco outfit. And, like, his main one is, like, Cab Calloway Zoot Suit, which... That's my whole thing, so... I'm very big on classic jazz, so... That's the main look for him, so yeah, I don't know. I did this after Banana Guard, because I'm like, well, if they get to add completely random characters that nobody wants, I'm going to add the characters that only I want.
That's the attitude to have.
Yeah.
Alright, let's see what you've got then, Huff.
You see... people were talking about Marceline, and, like, we brought up Banana Guard, and, like, there's a bunch of Adventure Time characters. But there's one that we didn't really touch on, and he is by far my favorite character, probably Cartoon Network has, period.
Alright.
And that's Simon. Big fan. Big fan of the Ice King.
Nice.
I'm like, it surprised me that, like, Ice King isn't, like, one of the first ones, to be honest, that they would add when they're going for Adventure Time. Like, well, obviously Banana Girl, we brought up a whole bunch, Marceline being next, but, like, there's not even, like, rumors of Ice King or anything. I've rarely seen him get brought up.
Yeah, he has a lot of stuff he can do. He just has, like, he has ice powers, of course, but he can also fly with his beard. He uses his crown as, like, a item to attack people. Like, he does a lot in the show, so I'm just kind of surprised that he isn't, like, more prevalent. And I just kind of want to push the Simon agenda.
It's so weird, especially since, like, how prominent he is in Fiona and Cake right now.
Yeah,
he's one of the main characters, and almost the whole plot of Adventure Time revolves around Simon. Like, the actual deeper plot is basically Simon's story, so it is kind of weird that he hasn't been brought up as much. I think it probably just has something to do with Marceline being such a popular character that she's just next in line, and that's, like, I think once Marceline's in, you'll probably hear tons of people wanting Ice King and Simon after that.
Like I said, I want I wanted Marceline as well. I just went with one because I'd rather do one character per series just to make it more diverse.
Yeah,
but
I'm cool with either too. Like I put Marceline on mine, but like if Icekin got in, like I'm not mad at all. I'm psyched. Like that's awesome. So
yeah. Also, you seeing me seeing Marceline on your list, I was like, oh cool. Now I can just fully commit to Simon.
Yeah, I'll do the other one. You had the benefit of seeing all the lists too, so you could edit to that.
I just kind of noticed our list kind of has a lot of parallels because you have Marceline and Jack, and I have Ice King and Haku.
You're going the villain side of this.
Yeah, I didn't notice that till now. All right. You're up, Nan.
All right.
What you got for me?
I got Granddad. Up next.
Good bit.
Yeah, no, I have Fred as well. It's we've talked a lot about Fred, so we don't need to spend much time here. But he feels like a character who should be their big icon for both sitcoms and cartoons and sitcom cartoons. So, and he just as caveman, there's a lot you could pull from that would just work for a moveset. So yeah, Fred. Right, what have you got, Genos?
Yeah, so my next one is Tom from Toonami.
Oh,
the host, the host of Toonami, because Toonami is such a big part of Cartoon Network. It was a big part of bringing anime into my life and probably so many other people's lives. And Tom has been the host for a long time. It was who was it before that? It was the dude. It's from Space Ghost, I think, actually, and I can't.
No, it wasn't
Bragg.
It was Moltar.
Moltar. Yeah, it was Moltar.
Oh, it was Moltar? Huh.
Moltar was the original. Yeah, he was the original host of Toonami, and then they made up Tom, and Tom's been the host. I think he's still the host of Toonami. He's gone through some different costume changes over the years, which gives him alt costumes. I think he had a show, or maybe more than one, of like a brief kind of animated thing that he was like a show for himself was like a thing. Briefly, I think it was more like a special than like a ongoing series or anything. But I thought he's such a cool character. I love Toonami as a thing, so like I'd love to just see them acknowledge that by making Tom a character. I think he's really cool.
Yeah, someone in the comments said that he was cut from Punch Time Explosion, which is
really
yeah.
I didn't know that.
I think that they were planned and they just didn't get very far.
I'd love to learn more about the behind the scenes on that game.
Yeah,
for real.
I mean, yeah, if you're going to represent Toonami, I mean, who's better than the host? I feel like...
Yeah, exactly.
The Cartoon Network went through that phase of having hosts, because Cartoon Network itself had a host at one point. They had that whole fake game show. That's name I can't remember now. But it's the guy with the glasses. But yeah, Tom survived.
The guy with the glasses?
Yeah, not that guy with the glasses. Tom survived the test of time. So
yeah, like I said, I believe he's still hosting Toonami. His voice actor is what's the guy's name? Tip of my tongue. He does Spike Spiegel's voice from Cowboy Bebop. Stephen Bloom. Yep. So yeah, I mean, cool voice actor right there, and obviously this game has a lot of cool voice actors. And like I said, stood the test of time. And I'd love to get like actual anime series from Toonami, though I don't know how much Warner Brothers actually has access to them. Obviously, this game has said they'll do third-party stuff, but we're trying to keep it.
We talked about that, and there are some anime that Warner Brothers like Warner Brothers Japan and stuff.
Yeah, they funded or made.
Yeah. But I don't know if the ones on I don't think Dragon Ball is. Like, Dragon Ball would be a guest character, same for One Piece, which are obviously both on Toonami at some point.
Right, exactly. And to be fair, they did used to own Crunchyroll. Why did I say it like
Crunchyroll?
Crunchyroll. Yeah, they sold Crunchyroll a few years ago, so now they just have less access to it. So there's less of an argument for random anime.
Yeah, I feel like they definitely probably can go out of their way to try to talk to whoever to try to get whatever anime character. I'm not saying it's off the table at all.
Yeah.
But as far as like, are we going to get Goku? Are we going to get Sailor Moon? Are we going to get Naruto? I feel like, Tom from Toonami, that's an easy one to get. It represents Toonami, and yeah, I just think it'd be cool. So I'm down with that being our...
Yeah.
I don't know if it's exactly an anime character, but anime representation being Tom is, I think it's a cool concept to do. So.
Yeah, Dusty's remembered for me. It's Skatoony. That was the show on Cartoon Network with their host. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Cool. What you got? Let's see what you got next, Aiden. Captain.
Yes, Captain Planet!
Nice.
By our powers combined.
That is a terrifying picture.
Yeah. What, you're afraid of MatPat from Game Theory?
I am.
Well, he's not real anymore. He can't hurt you.
Put him back.
But yeah, so this is actually Punch Time Explosion is the reason that I included Captain Planet, because for some reason they decided that the guest, like the secret character that was hidden, that was the Sonic of the Subspace Emissary of that game, that comes in and saves the day at the last moment, was Captain Planet. Which is the funniest thing ever to me.
It's really weird now hearing that Tom from Toonami was almost in the game, and that wasn't the character they went with for that. It's actually kind of weird.
But no, I mean, technically we kind of have Captain Planet sort of in the game already, because I think Morty uses the parody of like the Captain Planet rings.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
He's the rings. Yeah, he's the rings.
But I don't know. I think Captain Planet is just a really fun option for a character.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's more funny of an idea than it is like, oh yeah, that'd be cool. Because it's Captain Planet. He's not cool.
Listen, I'm going in 100% on this. I think Captain Planet in a fighting game would be cool. He has fundamentally all the same abilities as like Aang or Korra.
Let me rephrase that. Moveset wise, he could be cool, but him himself cannot.
Are you saying you don't want a taunt where he tells you to recycle?
He definitely does have. That's what I was gonna say. Is like his moveset potential is cool. Like he can fight as cool as any superhero character you can think of for sure, moveset wise. But he is objectively, kind of a silly goofy character.
All I'm saying
I think he would fit in Multiverses. So
player first. The power is yours.
So voice-wise, I believe he was originally voiced by Tom Cruise. Is that true? Does anyone?
No, that's not true. I looked this up because I was going to talk about the voice actor, but I can't remember his name. It's like David Coburn or something.
There was some rumor that he was voiced by Tom Cruise.
They were trying to get a movie off the ground.
Yeah, that's it. They wanted Tom Cruise to star in a Captain Planet movie.
Okay, I thought I read he did Tom Cruise either did the pilot or he did the opening
narration.
Now I gotta look this up.
Theme song I thought was Tom Cruise. I thought that's
God, if they got Tom Cruise just to sing, that'd be so funny.
Tom Cruise originally agreed to provide the voice.
Okay, but then didn't.
Interesting.
I knew there was some tie there. I knew there was something there.
Yeah, you weren't going crazy. There was a connection.
I'm going to sci-fi.com right now, and it says Turner originally wanted Tom Cruise because he was the biggest movie star in the world at the time. But after Cruise recorded the first couple of episodes, they said we had to face the unpleasant realization that he did not have a superhero voice. So they got somebody else in.
Maybe Multiversus can remedy this finally and get Tom Cruise to voice.
Imagine being Tom Cruise and they're like, "Sorry, you just don't sound heroic enough. we're gonna get rid of you."
He took that personally, and that's why he does his own stunts.
Yeah, he's like, I am a hero. I am so a hero. Watch this, and then he just goes out and.
Is this good enough for Captain Planet?
He has this huge chip on his shoulder all these years for being kicked out of being Captain Planet.
Maybe if he just picked it up off the ground and threw it in the recycling bin.
Alright, what have you got for us?
Alright, I just want to warn everybody, this is by far the worst icon I've ever made.
Oh no. Oh no! Dear God, this is... Put it away.
This was the show that I skipped when I was talking about my favorite Cartoon Network shows. I love Amazing World of Gumball. It's great. I originally didn't have it on here because, I don't know, I don't really like the idea of Gumball and Darwin being playable characters.
Mm-hmm.
So, I had Rob on here, which is like the tentatively main villain for a little bit. I decided to just slap this one on here just because people would know who the fuck this is.
I mean, Nicole had an entire animated fight scene in that show that I'm pretty sure was done by Studio Trigger, right? Something insane like that.
It was Trigger or Madhouse, one of the two.
Yeah, one of those two. Which is, I mean, hey, I think that's justification enough, to be honest.
Yeah. Also, it just adds like a general brawler to the roster, which oddly we don't have many of.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to put it blatantly, later on, I was considered a Mortal Kombat character, and I was looking at Liu Kang for that.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't end up going with it, but like I was considering just another traditional brawler, because how do we not have just a traditional martial artist? It's weird.
There's a lot of characters are like weapon users and stuff.
Yeah.
In Multiversus so far. Yeah.
Even Shaggy
Also-
throws sandwiches.
Yeah.
Right.
Also,
they use
Dan-
items to some extent as a weapon.
Okay, apparently Studio 4C was the one who animated that fight scene.
Okay. Also, Nan, I'm just gonna bring this up now. Can we do my next character as well?
Oh, okay, sure.
I just figured it would be better to get it out of the way now.
That's at least
the
like
icon. The icon.
That's like less terrifying at least than the one from before. Oh god.
It's better than the other one.
All right.
But you see why I wanted to get that out of the way.
Yeah, just get it there. Get Grimbley out and done. Interesting you brought up Mortal Kombat, because after Grimbley, I figured I should also dip into another video game character that Warner Brothers owns. So I decided to go with Mortal Kombat. And went with Scorpion, because he's obviously like the most iconic character from
Nice.
from that series. I did debate between him and Sub-Zero, and I just thought, I feel like they're more likely to take Scorpion and take the gore level down than do anyone else.
I feel like, because people have discussed Mortal Kombat and Smash all the time and point towards Sub-Zero as being like significantly less gory than Scorpion.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I feel like Multiversus can pull it off with Scorpion without it feeling like, not a cop-out, but like,
Yeah.
still feeling true to the character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a big difference with this is that Sakurai, I think, would be way too laser focused on getting Mortal Kombat exactly as it needs to be in Smash, whereas I think Multiversus might be a bit. They sort of know as far as they can take it, because I mean they already technically did it with Injustice, right? Oh no, that Mortal Kombat versus DC, the original one, where they toned down all the violence.
Scorpion was in the first Injustice too, I think.
Yeah.
Pretty
And
sure.
we just got Jason Voorhees, and they clearly toned him
Yeah.
down to some extent.
I was gonna say, we have a move where Jason Voorhees grabs you and stuffs you in a sleeping bag.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
fair
they
enough.
can tone down the violence for Mortal Kombat, I feel like, and Scorpion is.
Mhm.
If there's a Mortal Kombat character you choose as the one character to get in something else as a crossover, I feel like Scorpion's the way to go. So, yeah.
All right, what you got next for us, Genos? Let's have a look.
Okay, yeah. So I tried to do more Hanna-Barbera stuff. You guys got like Fred Flintstone and stuff, who I do like, but I just don't know if I can put them on my my personal like top most wanted. But I am a really big Scooby-Doo fan, and me and my friends for Halloween several years have done the whole Scooby-Doo gang, and I always go as Fred. So I gotta rep Fred Jones here.
Fred. They're slowly gonna have the entire Scooby-Doo gang in.
I'm sure. Yeah, I feel like
Multiversus.
Scooby's probably next, and then Fred. And Daphne seems like the toughest one to make a moveset for. But I do think Freddy, like, you can make a moveset. I think if you incorporate the mystery machine, because he drives it,
Yeah, it's
and
his
he
machine.
sets up traps, so you make him a trap builder. Like that's if you look to the show for what traps they've caught the villains with and stuff, and you have him do that. So that's how I'd want Fred to be represented. But
yeah, I think that's a
did
good way of getting Fred in. I think that's a unique gimmick that he has in the Scooby-Doo gang.
Right.
But you're right, Daphne
That's
kind of struggles on as being the damsel member of the gang.
Yeah, she's the toughest one. I've heard people say, like, well, in the movie, and I think a few more modern iterations, she does, like, some karate, like, martial arts stuff. So you could definitely put that in there. But if I was going to do Daphne, I'd probably maybe incorporate all the Scooby-Doo villains and have them, like, chasing her or capturing her, because that happens to her multiple times in the show. And if you did that, you could incorporate those classic villains in a moveset and do it that way. Same with Freddy, actually, like unmasking a character. You could have something with unmasking.
Just grabs someone's head and just takes it off.
Yeah, just rips off somebody's face.
Rips off their face. And they're just a different character underneath.
And then he eats it.
Yeah,
I know.
that's
It's iconic Fred move.
You never find out what happens to those masks after the show is over.
Why do you think they're always moving from town to town?
So you have like these minor like smuggler villains, and then Scooby-Doo gang are straight up serial killers on the run, acting like they're helping everybody out.
Yeah.
But
They're just shifting the focus of the police onto someone else in every town so they can get away with stuff in the background.
What's that one Meat Canyon Scooby-Doo short? It's like, your problem was that you were lazy.
Alright, Aiden, let's have a look what you've got.
Let's see.
It's the Dodo
Dodo
Bird.
Bird. Oh, I didn't know this one was going to be next. Okay, so I'm a big Looney Tunes fan. I love classic animation, and I wanted to do a classic black and white Looney Tunes character because, as many people know, that's kind of my whole shtick. Is I love old black and white cartoons. The options for Looney Tunes are incredibly limited. You've got Foxy, who is, for all intents and purposes, Mickey Mouse with different ears.
What about Buddy?
There's Buddy, who has the personality of stale bread.
Hey, that's being generous.
And then you have
Stale
Bosco.
bread has some flavor.
And I'm not going to talk about Bosco anymore.
I do not know any of these characters. I actually do know the Dodo Bird.
Yeah.
Okay,
but that's
do
the
not
only
look
one.
up Bosco.
Yeah,
Just letting you
don't
know.
even look up Bosco. It's not worth it. But yeah, the Dodo Bird is from an old Bob Clampett Porky Pig short called Porky in Wacky Land. And the whole gimmick is that Porky's going to capture the last Dodo Bird in existence. And the Dodo Bird has, just from that short, you can make a full moveset. He has wacky abilities that would make Bugs Bunny look very vanilla. He has a slingshot. At one point, he creates an elevator that goes down into the earth and then comes back out. I kind of envisioned that as like Marx's attack from Kirby Superstar, where he dives into the earth and pops back out, but goes like going down and going up. And...
with an elevator.
Yeah. At one point, he summons the Warner Brothers Shield logo and rides it in the short.
Wow.
So I think that'd be a fun move. He does like a lot of kick dancing. I know he kicks Porky Pig in the crotch at one point. I'm trying to think of what else. The little hair thing on his head turns into an umbrella, so there's your recovery move. So he's the other one aside from Music Meister, where it's like, this is my roster and I get to decide the characters. So that was my other weird pick, was the Dodo Bird, because I don't know, I just think he's neat.
Yeah, fair enough. It's cool to have a Merry Melodies character here.
Oh yeah.
I feel like all the ones that didn't survive into Looney Tunes basically just got yeeted off the face of the earth.
It's funny
Never
because
appeared.
like the Dodo Bird for some reason is the character they keep on coming back to. I know there's like a stop motion Daffy Duck short that's coming out at some point with an asterisk that features him going to Wacky Land with the Dodo Birds, and like I know there was a main character in Tiny Toons that was a Dodo Bird.
Yeah, I was actually wondering if that's the same, because like Tiny Toons had all of the, it's like a younger version. Well, not younger version. It's like a younger equivalent.
I'm pretty sure it's his son. That's the one
in Tiny
Toons. Yeah.
Because I think they just call him Dodo Bird. Like I was wondering, is he the original and they just put him in the show, or is it his son?
I want to say, I think it's his son. I think it's like
Go Dodo is his name.
Okay, he did have a different name.
Yeah.
Okay, he does have a different name.
You're right, I do remember this character, but I did not realize its connection to the Dodo Bird at all. Huh. Neat. Alright, Huff.
I did Gwimbly.
Oh yeah, you did do Gwimbly,
round,
didn't you?
so
Yeah. So we'll jump to me. So I'm keeping my streak going up. We're gonna have the character who always wins now, every time.
Oh.
So I don't know if I'm aging myself, but I feel like they decided to go with Shaggy, and they really lent heavily into the memes for his role in this. And the winning meme is like one of the big, like it's like one of like the forefathers of modern memedom, I feel like. So I thought it'd be a really funny idea to lean into that with another sitcom character and just fully lean into the craziness of it. I don't know if this is something that only I think is funny. And
it's funny.
It only just popped into my head because I was watching a documentary about 2.5 Men over the last week, which covered that entire saga, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I remember this."
I'll be fully transparent. I would love to see this happen, but I don't know if they would go through the process of adding Charlie Sheen to this game. For a multitude of reasons.
I don't think they would, but I thought it was a really funny, silly idea, so I decided I wanted to include it on here.
Nothing but respect.
I was talking with some friends the other day about memes before memes, which is kind of what you touched upon for a second there. Like stuff that was popular from like television and stuff before the internet culture really latched on to memes, but they were kind of memes. Like we were talking about a bunch of stuff from like Chappelle Show that people used to say all the time was kind of like a meme before memes. So Winning's kind of like that.
Yeah, like Winning was 2011, and it's the music video for it has like 67 million views. It's like a huge part of that era of the internet. And because they've really shown that they were willing to lean into memes for other characters, I thought, yeah, it could literally have nothing to do with Charlie Sheen from 2.5 Men or anything from that. They just lean into all the shit he went on about in that interview. Proper tiger blood. That's why I just put it's Charlie.
I'd love an install super. That's all I'm gonna say.
All right. Bring us back to normal, CGNess.
Okay. Yeah. So my next one is we talked about Animaniacs, but there was another Steven Spielberg animated show in the '90s that I enjoyed that I feel like should get represented in Multiversus. We saw Animaniacs stuff already with the water tower and stuff, and I do want Animaniacs characters for sure. But I put Buster and Babs Bunny from Tiny Toons.
Oh,
nice.
Yeah, I did not watch the new one. I didn't hear great things.
Did they do a new one? I didn't even.
They made a new one, and they made them
Tiny Toons Luniversity or something.
They're college students now.
Oh,
but it's also like completely separate from the original show.
Yeah. So I didn't watch the new one, but back in the day when I was a kid, I watched a lot of Tiny Toons. That and Animaniacs were like really big.
Yeah, same.
Warner Brothers shows. And while I had definitely seen Looney Tunes stuff for as far back as I can remember, Bugs Bunny has been a thing, in my life to some extent. I think watching Tiny Toons and Space Jam were two big gateways to further Looney Tunes stuff. For a lot of people my age or even slightly younger, in the 90s and stuff. So I put Buster and Babs Bunny. This is another one of those, I'd take either or. Like if you just did one of them, that's fine. Do them together, that's fine too. And I also really liked, what was it? Buster, it was a Super NES or Genesis game. Busting Out or something like that.
There was one on the NES. I own that one. I remember that.
Okay. There was quite a few Tiny Toons games back in the day, and they were pretty good. Yeah. So I'm a video game guy, so that stuff also sticks with me. But yeah, so I really like Tiny Toons, and I'd love to see Tiny Toons represented in Multiversus in some way. I feel like we are getting Animaniacs, Pinky and the Brain are in the background of that stage, but Tiny Toons, haven't seen that yet. So
is it Buster's Hidden Treasure? Is that the game?
That might be it. I think there was a couple.
It's on the Genesis, that one.
Okay. All right, yeah, I'd probably have to see it. I remember the bosses and stuff. Like I remember what the game looks like, but it was a cool show. I liked it, and there's a lot of things you could do. Like you already mentioned Dodo, and like the way I know Dodo, I think I have seen that Porky Pig short from watching like late night Cartoon Network back in the day. But originally, the first way I knew about the dodo bird from Looney Tunes was from Tiny Toons, and there's a lot of things like that that I think I first learned about from Tiny Toons. Also, the movie where they go on like summer break or summer vacation movie, like even separate from everything else Tiny Toons, that movie's hilarious. That movie is really good. So, yeah. There we go.
Okay. Well, let's see what you've got next, Aiden.
Let's see.
Oh,
yes,
boy.
Okay.
I say.
I correctly predicted that a lot of people were going to talk about Daffy and Wily, and I feel like those are two characters that should inevitably happen before Foghorn. But I think Foghorn is a really funny idea, mostly for the interactions that he would create.
Yeah. We don't have any anime characters on the roster yet for him to yell at.
For instance, I say, boy!
But I'd love for his moveset to mostly be him kind of bullying the other characters, of just like smacking them with his gut, or like backhanding them. I'd love for him to have a command grab where he grabs you by the legs and hits you with a 2x4 repeatedly.
I think if they had like, if they would go the Smash route and have like the Palutina's guidance, those like super taunts.
Oh my god.
You Foghorn one for every character.
That would be good.
It just goes on a rant. It'd be great.
This boy's slower than a molasses truck full of turtles. Or something like that. That's not as lame as that.
Okay, a turtle truck full of molasses. Got it.
Turtle truck full of molasses. There we go. Thank you, Huff.
Nice.
All right.
Huff.
So, kind of a basic choice here, to be honest. I went with everybody's favorite DC character, Green Lantern.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Actually, an icon that looks alright in Family Guy form.
Yeah, that one I didn't have to edit. That's why he was in it.
He was already there.
For the icon, I use Kyle because, and I'm going to put this as bluntly as possible, I found a cropped render online. I didn't want to crop out the other one. Like, ideally, I'd pick John because I like John more, but like, fellas, sometimes the guy is just tired.
Sometimes the guy has made it 50 plus icons in one second.
Wasn't it me that pointed out that was Kyle and not Hal Jordan? You said, "Oh God."
Yeah, I was like, "Oh wait, you're right." I didn't notice.
I mean, the Lanterns, you could do Hal, Guy, John, and Kyle, all as costumes of each other.
Who's the new one? Jessica? Is that her name?
There's Jessica Cruz, and then there's
the guy that nobody gives a shit about.
Simon Baz, I want to say is his name.
Yeah, Simon. That's his name.
I don't know.
Nobody cared about him. They stopped using him after like 2 issues. Who cares?
I mean, you could also do Alan Scott, the Golden Age Green Lantern, but he kind of is a whole separate thing.
Yeah. I went with Green Lantern just because, like, ultimately infinite potential. He can just create whatever he wants, and Green Lantern deserves to be in a fighting game that isn't Injustice.
True.
So, yeah, and all of the Green Lanterns ideally work as alts, although, they do have different constructs. You could make it so they all, work the same, though. So,
I mean, like, honestly, I'm not a big fan of, like, saying, oh, it's a function, but, like, you could do it so, like, if it's a basic, like, somebody does a punch attack and they release a giant fist, you could always change out what the fist looks like for each character.
Yeah, like, you could change John's to be, like, a piston, or, I don't even know how you would change it for Kyle, because Kyle just does weird stuff.
Kyle's the most basic.
Yeah.
Guy Gardner would have brass knuckles on his fist.
Yeah. Like, ultimately, Green Lantern is the example of infinite potential, and I'm gonna be blunt, I'm not a huge fan of Green Lantern as a character. I've never really been into the Green Lantern part of the DC universe, but I do like John from the DC animated shows. So that's why I decided to go with Green Lantern, just because great moveset potential, and I like one of them.
Time, huh? Thanks for the tip.
They had, like the power battery or whatever was in like the lantern was in the trailer too. It was spotted in the trailer, so they definitely have Green Lantern at least on their mind. Yeah. To put it in there as a hint. I think it was in the Titan Tower part of that trailer. Yeah.
All right, my next one is one that we've already done, and it's Mojo Jojo. Yeah, nice. It just seems like an obvious pick, especially if Powerpuff Girls do actually just get in. And I like Mojo Jojo as well. I didn't realize he was already a stage hazard, but it's fine, as we said.
Yeah, no,
down the road. Yeah, down the road they can turn him into a full character. So what have you got then next, Genos?
So my next one, I really wanted to do like classic Looney Tunes, and I didn't pick any classic Looney Tunes characters, probably because I think my favorites are Taz and Marvin, and they're already in. And that's not to say I don't want like Daffy and other characters or whatever, but staying with the WB Toon stuff, I went with Pinky and the Brain. I know that they have the balloons in the background of the WB water tower stage and stuff, and I think the Acme Lab is in the background too, so they're sort of represented on the stage, sort of like Mojo Jojo. But Pinky and the Brain was probably out of those 90s WB tunes, that was probably the funniest one. Like that's the one that is probably my favorite.
Yeah.
And at first I was kind of like, oh no, they make more sense as like a stage thing because they're so tiny. But then I remember Brain has that big suit that he wears where his head's really tiny. And like he's just like on his shoulder. I forgot about that, and I was like, oh man, no, never mind. I want them as playable characters. Like I want to see that. I want to see that thing fighting. Yeah.
That would be funny. Yeah, Pinky and Brain was popular enough to get its own spin-off show, so I think it's definitely the one everyone remembers after Animaniacs.
They're the only original segment not from Animaniacs to come back that isn't Yakko, Wacko, and Dot. So.
Yeah. And then they had their own spin-off show. They had the Elmira Pinky and the Brain show for a while there. They've been pretty beloved, and the voice actors are amazing for both those characters. So I'd love to see them voicing the characters in Multiversus. They can't just be background balloons. I want to hear these characters. I want to hear the hilarious dialogue.
Well, what are we going to do tonight?
Same thing we do every night, Pinky.
And then so this spot, I almost put in two things I just want to mention real quick. I almost put in Freakazoid.
Same. I almost did Freakazoid too.
Yeah, and then I actually took Freakazoid out and put in Earthworm Jim because there was a WB Earthworm Jim show. Yeah, and I'm a big fan of Earthworm Jim, and honestly, my roster speculating probably goes back to Clay Fighter 63 and a third having Earthworm Jim and Boogerman on it. I think that is
yeah, they are.
I think that is I think that is pre-Smash, and I believe I was super into that too. I remember being like, "Oh, that's so cool! There's video game characters in this fighting game." I'm pretty sure that's where it all starts for me. So I really wanted to put Earthworm Jim on here, but despite having that WB show back in the day, or I think he's actually voiced by is it Dan Castellaneta?
Homer's voice actor.
Yeah. Which would also be great to get in Multiversus. I think whatever rights WB has to Earthworm Jim are, I think, long gone. I think
they never
that's why I didn't
actually
consider it.
Had it. They licensed the show from a different network, apparently.
Okay.
They had no production work on it, unfortunately. And I actually was kind of hoping that you could get away with it, just because I also like Earthworm Jim. Except for his creator. Fuck his creator. Earthworm Jim is just really fun. He's fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, despite separating the art from the artist or whatever thing, I loved Earthworm Jim growing up and stuff. So I wanted to put him on here, but I had to take him off because of WB. But in that case, Pinky and the Brain, I want to see them with that. When I thought of that Brain costume, the big suit that he's in, where he just looks so out of place, he just acts like it's normal. Hilarious. I want to see that as a fighter.
I was also thinking about, because isn't there one episode where they become a country star and he's just the Brain normal size, but he has really long legs?
Yeah, that is one.
Yeah, he has big boots.
Cowboy boots or something. Yeah. Show was good. Show was very good.
All right, Aiden, let's see what you got next. Quick Draw McGraw.
Oh yeah, Quick Draw McGraw. So I wanted to do some classic Hanna-Barbera stuff because that's actually where my interest in Warner Brothers started. Was I watched a lot of Boomerang growing up.
Mm-hmm.
So Quick Draw is, I feel like he's the most obvious moveset wise, he's a cowboy with pistols and he's a gunslinger. But if you want to go ahead and drag the next icon on, El Caban, there we go. Full transparency, the main reason I wanted El Caban was solely so that there could be guitar attacks where it makes the noise.
Yeah, no, that's a very valid reason. I love quick draw and El Caban!
And just like, he's got the rope, he swings across, just constant smacking people with guitars. Maybe like, maybe he's got like a durability system like Robin, where you have to keep on replacing the guitars.
That would be cool. I like that idea.
Yeah.
And so you just leave like pieces of guitar all over the stage. But yeah, I feel like that's kind of just... I don't have a lot of good reasoning aside from I think guitar superhero Zorro is funny.
You mentioned
fun concept.
You mentioned Boomerang. Did you guys see that Boomerang's doing like a promotion for Multiversus?
Yeah.
I did not. I'll have to look into that.
Yeah, they're gonna play like the Boomerang lineup. I don't know if it starts tomorrow or if it starts on the 28th, but like it's like 2 or 3 days around when the launch of Multiversus. They're gonna play shows related to like Multiverses. So
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, they changed the lineup.
That's
pretty
cool.
When I was a kid, our TV package had Boomerang, but not Cartoon Network. So that...
Oh, wow.
You can kind of see why I have a bit of like Looney Tunes and older stuff, despite not knowing the stuff in like the middle era of like the Billy and Mandy era, because I didn't have access to that stuff as a kid.
Yeah. All right. Well, what did you have access to, Huff, that might show up next?
I'm gonna be honest. This one, I decided, fuck it, I'm doing this one because I really like this character, despite them not being very popular or well liked. I think out of all of the DC greats, like the main characters that people think of when they think of Justice League, I think this is by far my favorite one, and I think this is the character that would be most interesting for a moveset.
All right.
We got Martian Manhunter. Yeah, people tend not to care about Martian Manhunter, but I love John. He is such a fun character, and he's really tragic. His backstory is really sad, and what they do with him in the comics is actually really engaging. And in terms of like moveset and powers, he can like stretch his limbs. He has like heat vision at times. General flight. He has so many powers that he can just pull from his like 80 plus years of just existence. And this is my list. I wanted to do one DC character that I'm like, you know what? This one isn't that popular. Fuck it. I like him.
Yeah.
His interactions with Marvin the Martian would also be interesting.
Yeah.
Do that.
I thought about that too.
There's a whole comic where they interact, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know Looney Tunes did a whole crossover thing with DC where different characters interacted. Like there was a Wonder Woman Taz.
Yeah.
There was Porky Pig Lex Luthor.
That sounds right.
Wile E. Coyote has a Green Lantern ring. For some reason.
There was some promotion back when I was a kid. I don't remember if it was McDonald's or Burger King, but they had Looney Tunes characters dressed as
DC
heroes. Dressed as DC heroes. Yeah, I think Daffy was Batman. I think I remember, like, and I had that one. It was like it was like a normal figure of a Looney Tunes character, and then you had like a little plastic suit that like you could pop onto them. That was the DC hero that like they became. It was cool. I remember those were pretty cool. As far as like Happy Meal toys go, those were pretty good ones from back in the day.
All right. Then for me, my next one, I've got probably the strongest character in all of the multiverse. It's him.
Yeah! Yes! Let's go. I was hoping somebody would do it.
Yes.
Okay.
I brought him up earlier, too.
Yeah, no, my actual picks are the Eds, but... Because I don't know how you'd actually do Plank, he's too strong. But
You ever think about how they made an entire music video for Plank?
Yep.
Deserved. But we already talked about Ed, Ed, and Eddie, so I don't have anything new to add. But they should be here. Cool. Then Genos, what have you got next?
Yeah, sure. My next one is Virgil Hawkins, Static Shock.
Ooh.
So this is my first DC like superhero character. I really liked Static Shock, like the show, and I loved when Static Shock shows up. When Static shows up in like other DC things, and he hasn't been in a ton to my knowledge. I remember there was like Justice League where they went to like the future and they had some of the future characters, like some of the younger characters older, and they showed Static, and that was really cool.
Yeah. To be blunt, why do I keep saying blunt? I don't know why I keep saying that. The reason why they try to keep Static a bit more segmented is because he's not an original DC character.
Oh, okay, all right. Well,
Yeah,
I want him to be.
He's from Wildstorm Comics, I believe, and then they bought that company out and merged.
Okay, so he got merged into the DC universe.
Yeah. So they tried. Basically, if a character isn't original from DC, they try to keep them a little bit segmented, just to keep a little bit of their old history and stuff. Like they do the same thing with Shazam.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
All right,
And,
that makes sense.
the old Charlton heroes, so like Blue Beetle and Captain Atom in the Question too.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
So they tend to use them like they're in the same universe. They use them. It's just they tend to keep them a little bit more segmented, just to.
I know, like
respect or whatever.
like Watchmen, they do some stuff with Watchmen characters, but I know it's like kind of separate like that. So that makes sense with Static. Anyway, I like Static a lot, and I'd like to see him here. We have Black Adam, so that's Shazam stuff kind of. So
Yeah.
I don't think they're opposed to doing the more segmented or whatever outsider DC stuff. So I liked the Static cartoon a lot and stuff. This was a tough choice between Virgil and Terry McGinnis from Batman Beyond. Those are two DC shows that I really liked growing up. But I edged out I gave the edge to Static, just because I think the moveset potential is really interesting. Whereas Terry with Batman Beyond, he can do a few things Batman can't, and he can do a few things like Robin doesn't, but he's very similar to that type of character. Static's his own thing. So I gave it to Static here.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, Aiden. Let's see what you've got.
Let's see. Okay. All right.
The main villain of Velma.
I'm a Scrappy-Doo apologist, so when I put Scrappy-Doo on here, it was with the intent that he would be fully just committed to the original vision of the character of like it's just a little guy who's in over his head and keeps on trying to pick fights with people 10 times his size.
Mm-hmm.
I think he'd be like a Pikachu type almost, where he's annoying to fight, but not in like a purposefully annoying way.
I am glad that you're just giving Scrappy like his due here, because they have been so awful to him over the years. I never disliked him as a kid, and then the movie came out, and they acted like, oh, everybody hates Scrappy, and I was like, since when? Like, why is that a thing?
I was like, okay, I'll let the live action movies take the piss on him. I think the comic book, the Scooby Apocalypse, has him as a villain too. I haven't read that, but I've heard that it's decent, but also they still, make him a bad guy.
They did it in one of the other Scooby shows that was more recent, and they did it in the Velma show, the season 2.
Yeah.
I saw that in Velma, and I was just like, man, I miss like genuine like care for this character.
Yeah, in the Velma show, it just feels like the obvious go-to, like the easy option go-to punch.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of issues with the Velma show, so I'm not that mad about it, but like, I'm still kind of mad that Scrappy is still stuck in that place where it's like everybody hates him, I guess. I'm like, I don't get it.
So I remember I was like pitching this to a friend. They're like, "Oh yeah, I would have preferred Scrappy as the joke character over, Banana Guard." I'm like, "You don't understand. I'm not pitching him as a joke character. I'm being 100% serious that I think Scrappy is a good choice for a Scooby-Doo character."
Some of my favorite Scooby stuff growing up were those like side movies where it's just Shaggy, Scooby, and Scrappy. There's some really good ones.
Like the 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo was the main series I liked.
Boo Brothers, I think, is those three.
Yeah.
Like there's some good movies that are those three, which again is why I've always found it baffling that people hated Scrappy so much, because there's some good Scooby-Doo material out there with them.
So yeah, to me this would be like the Banjo moment where it's like all is not the all is lost moment, but the
all is lost moment.
The opposite of that, where it's like finally he's back in a positive way.
Yeah,
I suppose it's more like analog to Mega Man and Smash 4, except not Mega Man in any way, shape, or form.
I can finally get the original iteration version that we've been begging for instead of just jokes.
After like a decade of mistreatment, it's finally like, okay, cool, somebody understands why people like this character.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's see what you've got next, Huff.
Yeah, we brought this character up and nobody is committed to doing them yet.
Oh, okay.
But, yeah, it's Raven from Teen Titans.
Cool.
Yeah, she has a lot of backing and she's like a really popular character, and she's already been like rumored for years now. So
yeah,
she nearly made my list. She was one of my almost runner-up characters because I really like her as a character. But yeah, didn't quite make it on mine. But I agree. I'm excited to hopefully see Raven sooner rather than later. I would like to see a Teen Titan character. I feel like she's the number one pick probably.
Yeah,
for sure from Teen Titans. Absolutely. Right. So my next choice is an interesting one. I can thank Wolfman from our team for this one. After Jason got fully confirmed, I decided to go all in on it. I went with Gabriel from Malignant.
Ooh.
Have you seen Malignant? Any of you?
I have not heard of it.
No.
So I did look at the Source Gaming article before
Multiversus
was revealed.
So Malignant was a 2021 horror film that Gabriel is the main villain of it. This like slasher murderer, and the movie is like absolutely buck wild. It got very mixed reviews when it came out, but I think it's because as a horror, it's its tonal shift. Right, I recommend that people watch it, but it goes from like being a tense horror movie to being this like Matrix tier action movie with Gabriel like backflipping and wall running and going absolutely ham, mowing down people. Like there's a scene in a police station where he's jumping over desks and kicking desks into people and like cutting them up with his like fucking blade hands and stuff. Like it's actually insane. And I think it would be really cool in Multiversus. Like, he'd be, like, easily, like, the assassin, because I know they have, like, different archetypes in Multiversus. He'd be an easy pick for an assassin type. And he'd be another part of that Warner Brothers monster list, along with Jason and Freddy, if they decide to add Freddy in.
Nice.
And, yeah, I think Malignant is completely underrated. It got kind of mixed reviews when it came out, but... when people, like, from critics, but when people actually saw it, they were like, what? This movie is insane. Go see it. And this is my recommendation for it. Go watch it. It's a great film. It was super annoying finding this render of Gabriel, though. I had to crop it out of a screenshot from the movie.
That one fell under my radar, so I'll have to check that out, because I like horror movies, and I do like movies that get a little... off the wall.
Yeah, no, I think you'll like this one then.
Cool.
But yeah, that's my pick for horror character. What have you got next, Jonas?
Okay, yeah. So continuing on with my DC superheroes, this spot almost, we talked about Raven just a second ago. This was almost my Teen Titans spot because I do want to see one of the Teen Titans, which is a really tough choice for me between Robin and Raven. I think Raven's probably the character I'd like to see, but because Robin crosses over between, like, you know, Batman and the 2003 Teen Titans and Teen Titans Go, like, he just has so much, he bridges a lot, like, so I'm really torn between Robin and Raven, but luckily I didn't have to pick between those two, because another character took my DC spot, which is Captain Boomerang.
Yes! Specifically
from the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League game, because they decided to, motion capture my face, and, and put it on the character. So yeah, no, if this character didn't look like me in that game, probably wouldn't be on my list. But because he does, I had to put him on my list.
Special privilege now.
Yeah, I had to put him on my list and hope that he gets a PapaGenos alt costume.
It's okay. I put Austin Powers on mine for the exact same reason.
So yeah, Captain Boomerang took a DC spot for me because of that.
Yeah, fair enough.
And he's stuck in that bad game, like the Suicide Squad. It's not a good game. Like it's not going to be remembered. But they there's my likeness right there. Pull him into a good game. Pull him into Multiversus for me, please. Thank you.
All right, Aiden, let's see what you've got.
All right, let's see.
Hey,
the Warners.
The whole
Okay.
one.
So I kind of talked about it before. I wanted to do Freakazoid. I thought about doing Elmira from Tiny Toons because I think a whole moveset around someone who just hugs people to death is funny. But despite thinking of knowing that they probably are going to be added at some point, I grew up on Animaniacs. I can't in good faith make a Most Wanted without putting them on here. I was kind of discussing it before with the Powerpuffs, but I think it'd be really cool if they're kind of like, not Pyramithra necessarily, but they have very similar normals, and then depending on what perk you choose, it chooses which one it is, and then their specials can be a little bit different depending on who's there. So like, Wacko can burp or something, Yakko can toss baloney from inside his pants, Dot can be cute and do a counterattack where you can't hit her because she's too cute. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Also, Yakko's got to have a taunt where he just blows a kiss and yells "Good night, everybody." That's mandatory. I did want to, let me see real quick if I can pull it up. I was going to send it to you, Nanten. I actually, in preparation for this stream, made a stage list that I would like to show off real quick, if that's cool. I'm not going to talk about it for too long.
Mm-hmm.
But here, I'll just send it to you. You can just pull it up on screen for all of 5 seconds.
Sure, give me a sec.
No problem. I figured now was a good time to talk about it since we're past the halfway point.
Yeah. I'll bust out the stage thing for you quickly. Let me get the stream set up. Okay. Right, there we go.
Alright.
So you want to explain the stage list?
Oh, it's not showing up on the stream.
It's on the stream. It's on the stream.
It's on the stream,
okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, so my thought was we could just do, you start with United States, then Canada, then Mexico, Panama, Haiti, Jamaica, Peru, Republic Dominican, Cuba, Caribbean, Greenland, El Salvador, too, Puerto Rico, Colombia, Venezuela, Honduras, Guyana, and still Guatemala, Bolivia, then Argentina, then Ecuador, Chile, Brazil, Costa Rica, Belize, Nicaragua, Bermuda, Bahamas, Tobago, San Juan, Paraguay, Uruguay, Suriname, French Guiana, Barbados, and Guam. I memorized that song specifically for this stream.
To add a little bit more
Well
info
done.
on that, he said that he wasn't going to commit to it because it was too much effort. And then I sent him an image of Argentina that I had pre-made, and he said, fuck it, I have to do it.
Why did you have an image of Argentina pre-made?
We don't know.
What
I don't
roster
know.
was Argentina a
I've
part
had it
of?
for 3 years on my PC, and there's no reason. I do not
I want it to be known, I genuinely thought about doing the entire song.
God.
But
that would take
Just
too
send
long.
me several images.
I worked 40 hours this week, and I'm a part-timer. I could not.
Let's give you a break and move over to Huff for your next one.
Alright, so next up, we unfortunately have a problem. I wanted to do static, but with the Family Guy bit, it's kind of impossible to do static because reasons, as it would be pretty bad to edit a character to look like static. So unfortunately, Virgil will not be here.
Mm-hmm.
Until I had the idea to pay somebody to draw him in the art style.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Don't say I'm not
Commitment.
committed. I spent $200.
Wow, damn. We're keeping him then. We're keeping this one up.
So yeah, Static. We talked about Static. He's cool. So yeah.
It's a shame yours didn't come first.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry I went first with this.
No, it's fine. It's funny.
So you've got the static image now to use forever.
So just never say I'm not committed to the bit.
I feel like this now needs to be an alt costume for Static if he gets in.
Yeah.
Like he needs to have Family Guy fan art
Static.
Okay, so
all right.
Static McFarlane.
So nobody has this one on their roster, but we have technically brought it up because I decided to go with Eustace.
Yes.
he found his mallet. He's coming for that dog.
So I originally had Courage as well. And then when I was putting things together, I thought that Eustace would be kind of funny, like with the mask and the mallet. And I had a vivid memory of him having a shotgun. And apparently, I'm not the only one because I found a Reddit where people said that he had a shotgun, and everyone's like, no, he didn't. I think it's like a Berenstein Bear effect.
I watched the entirety of Courage last year. He has one, but he never fires it.
Okay. He feels like the type
like
to pull one out.
Where he's hunting Bigfoot.
Yeah, wait, does he have a shotgun or does he have like a weird gun? Because I remember the outfits from that, but I don't remember if it's a shotgun or not.
I think it was a shotgun, but I'm not positive.
Anyway, I love. Eustace is obviously quite an aggressive character, and I just thought it was like the amount of scenarios he obviously gets into in every single episode against his will.
All of his attacks are the various ways he dies.
And I thought Multiverses have done this already, putting like the side characters in before the main characters for some of the things, for some of their series. So I thought, yeah, why not just put Eustace in first and encourage later?
It's a good bit. I like it.
So I changed him to Eustace last minute.
Nice.
Stupid dog, I'm fucking bawling.
Alright, you ready to bring us up,
yeah.
Genos?
Sure. Yeah, so the next character I have on here is Gandalf from The Lord of the Rings. I'm a really big Lord of the Rings fan. And Gandalf appears to have almost been in the game already. Like, the rights to Lord of the Rings are always a little weird, and right before Multiversus went live, apparently, WB had some like rights issues, and some other company, I forget the name of them, bought some Lord of the Rings rights or something, so it was like, just a little weird. And
I think it was Amazon.
Was it Amazon? Well, Amazon
no,
the Rings of Power, but...
No, it's
Embracer. Embracer, yeah, the one that's dying.
Fucking Embracer.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. They also have a new movie coming out next year, apparently.
Yes.
Yeah,
and this year, there's the War of the Rohirrim is an animated, I think, Warner Brothers Lord of the Rings movie. So they definitely, like, Lord of the Rings has really weird rights. The Tolkien estate owns, like, I think the Silmarillion, and Warner Brothers, I think, owns, like, the movies, but Amazon clearly has rights to use some Lord of the Rings. Like, it's all over the place. It's one of those weird ones. But I do think they'll be able to use Lord of the Rings stuff again. When we'll see it, I don't know.
Yeah. The reason why the rules were kind of loose for what could be included is because Dune, Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, and Game of Thrones, they do not own. But they are, like, objectively their biggest series.
But they're like the one they publish them or something. It's weird. Yeah.
They did adaptations for them, but they don't own them. And to put it even further, hey, one of those series I mentioned is literally in the game already with So
I was gonna say, like, whenever Warner Brothers does video game crossovers, like Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings show up eventually.
Yeah, I feel like
Lego Dimensions.
Yeah.
I feel like we'll get both of them here. Yeah, like you said with Lego Dimensions. I feel like we'll get both Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings. And we already have Game of Thrones, so it's going to be, I think we'll have a fantasy. Like, we have Jason doing this horror. Jason and Stripe and Gizmo doing, like, a horror genre thing. I think we'll get a good chunk of the roster will be fantasy, characters. But I was going to main Gandalf originally when the game was first, like, leaking and we saw Gandalf. And then, obviously, he didn't show up, so... I'm sitting here waiting for Gandalf. I really want to see him. I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan, so I currently main Finn. I'm also a big Adventure Time fan, but I'm waiting for Gandalf. When Gandalf gets in, I'll probably switch over to maining Gandalf, mattering to who else is in the game by that point. But I do think that Hunt for Gollum movie, I think, is probably the one you were
yeah, that's it.
referring to. Yeah, that they just announced like a week or two ago. So yeah, WB definitely does have some kind of they can use
they
Lord of
hold
the
some
Rings
kind
stuff.
of
So,
rights for it.
yeah, to use the characters. So I do think Multiversus will be able to use Gandalf. It's just a matter of when at this point now. Bad timing when the game first went live, I guess.
Yeah, just unfortunate.
Yeah.
All right. So Aiden, let's see what you've got.
Let's see. Okay, so this is another weird one.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Darla, Dimple, and Max are from a movie from 1997 called Cats Don't Dance. It was done by Warner Brothers Animation. The guy who directed it, Mark Dindell, this was his directorial debut. He went on to do Emperor's New Groove and Chicken Little, and he's also directing the Garfield movie right now, which I just learned yesterday.
Oh wow.
But
so that movie might be worth a damn. Okay.
it might actually be good. So
Are reviews for it out? Isn't the movie already out?
I've heard it's good, but also that's from. There's a large amount of Garfield fans that I follow, so
Why do you follow Garfield fans?
I don't know. It happens.
Those exist?
Yes.
The biased Garfield fans.
But
Flooding the reviews, making the movie look good.
Yeah.
so
Flooding
Cats
Rotten
Don't Dance.
Tomatoes.
It's a movie set in like 1930s Hollywood, about the golden age of Hollywood, except the actors are animals, like it's like cats and elephants and bears and stuff, and they're treated poorly not only because they're animals, but they're given bit roles and are kind of just shoved to the side and not allowed to follow their dreams.
Mhm.
It's I believe music by Randy Newman, and Gene Kelly did the choreography for this animated film, which is nuts. But okay, back to the actual character itself. Darla Dimple is evil Shirley Temple. She poses one moment, does all the cute little, like, lollipop and sailor outfit stuff, angel halos, and then Max is her giant Frankenstein butler that's about the size of Iron Giant. So my thought would be kind of like, I can't think of their names, but they're the duo character from Mortal Kombat X. I want to say Farah and Thorn, but that's probably wrong.
Oh god, I know who you're talking about. I tried looking them up the other day, and I thought their name was Tachanka, and that's the guy from like Rainbow Six, and I'm like,
I was gonna say, are you misremembering like Black Panther?
Yeah, Farah and Tor, according to chat.
Tora, that's it.
Yeah, Pharaoh and Tora. But no. So my thought was Max would be the main character, and he would be like a giant grappler who can walk through attacks, grab you, do a 360 motion, and just toss you across the stage. All the while Darla's on his shoulder, posing and looking cute and commanding him, and only showing her evil side when like things get desperate. So this is another one of it's my roster I get to pick. I just like Cats Don't Dance, and I thought it'd be cool to represent a animated movie that wasn't like a Looney Tunes or Cartoon Network.
Yeah,
Because
property.
surprisingly there are very few that they still own. Because Warner Animation kind of did this, and then the rest is either existing properties or Lego stuff. So yeah, there's my elevator pitch for
Darla and Max.
Evil Shirley Temple. I initially had her on her own as like BB Hood, but actually BB Hood. But I kind of got the idea of Dorothy later. I'm like, okay, how do I make this different?
Okay, what have you got up then, Huff?
Alright, I kind of noticed this just now, but I tend to have like a villain thread here. Like, I have Mojo Jojo, tangentially Ice King, and Aku. So, who is the biggest, baddest villain that DC owns? It's this guy. It's Darkseid.
Oh, well. Oh, God. nice picture.
Yeah, Darkseid is like the big bad of the DC universe, and in terms of like powers, he kind of has like everything that you can think of. He can teleport, he can shoot eye lasers, he can adapt his body into weapons, he can regenerate, he has everything. But the thing that made me decide, you know what, I think I want to do Darkseid is the I believe it's called the Omega Beams, which is like a heat laser, essentially. But the thing with it is that it's like heat vision, but you can't dodge them. So the idea that I had was, it's like an attack that you could forcibly hit your opponent with, and it would just be like a delayed effect that you'd hit them eventually, so you could, like, basically combo off it. I thought that would be very interesting for a multiplayer fighting game like this, and also, on top of that, if you're doing, like, team combos, you could get in the way of it, and I just think that would add, like, a new dimension, which would be very interesting.
As long as he's better than he was in Injustice 2, I'm down.
No, he can't use his hands.
True.
Why did they do that?
Because Netherrealm?
Yeah, for people unaware, in Injustice, for whatever reason, they just have him with his hands behind his back the entire fucking time. For no reason.
It'd be too powerful if they, if they did the other way.
Darkseid also adds another big guy to the roster because he's like 8 foot tall or something. So it gives you like a bridge between like Iron Giant and Jason, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Darkseid. Funny.
Nice. Alright, so for my pick, Warner Brothers has the rights to some anime, and the second we decided we were going to do it, I knew which one I needed to go for.
Let me guess, JoJo's?
No, we're having Elizabeth.
Oh, okay.
From Gintama.
I respect it. I just assumed you were JoJo's.
Gintama is like the one I always remember that Warner Brothers has, like a Warner Brothers anime that they have an anime that they have a connection to, because there's also the live action movie for Gintama, which was Warner Brothers produced. And so I was like, yeah, let's do that. Let's do a Gintama character. And then I didn't want to do Gintoki himself, like, because I was trying to think, do they do the live action version? Do you do the anime version? Because like they distribute the anime, but obviously it's still Shueisha who owns the IP. It was one of those funky IP ones, and I was like, you know what? Elizabeth looks the same in both the live action and the TV show. And they can do the funny thing with the signs and all the other moveset potential that Elizabeth has, just the different costumes that she wears and the stuff that she just pulls out from under her suit, I guess. We can just go, Elizabeth has a lot of moveset potential. And it also gave me an excuse to talk about Gintama. So, which gets in a lot of crossovers. This artwork is from Granblue. When it did its Gintama crossover.
What do you mean it's from Granblue?
And they also crossed over with SNK. So there's like a fighting game that has like Terry, Kazuya, Ryu, and Gintoki. Elizabeth,
are you talking about the mobile game?
Yeah, the mobile game for that one.
Yeah, that also has John Cena and It has like the weirdest lineup of guests.
Isn't Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson also in there?
Yeah, Dwayne Johnson's in it.
So look. He's in Multiversus too.
That's true.
It's true. This is the rematch in Multiversus. So yeah, I decided to take advantage and do Gintama.
The only character Dwayne Johnson allows to beat him.
Alright, Gina, so what have you got next?
So just real quick note on Dwayne Johnson and being in Multiversus. I guess people saw that like they've labeled the characters now with like certain things about them or whatever. And one thing is like if they're heroic or villainous or whatever. And I think Black Adam is like a villain. Except when you put when you put on the Rock costume, it says hero.
So funny.
Black Adam is a weird character because calling him a villain is wrong, but calling him a hero is wrong.
It might even be anti-hero. So like I don't know what the other one is, but I just know when you put on the Rock costume,
it changes.
It's hero.
Black Adam is complicated. His moral ambiguity is what makes him interesting. He's like
Dr. Doom.
Hero. Yeah, he's Dr. Doom, but DC. Like, he's a hero for his nation, but he wants to keep his nation, like, his nation. Like, he doesn't want... Basically, if you fuck with him, he's gonna fuck with you, but if you do but he doesn't give a shit about anyone else. He'll defend his nation, but like, let's say that something's happening to, I don't know, fucking
something's happening
Cuba or
elsewhere,
something. He doesn't care.
Yeah.
Not Cuba.
He'll be heroic for the right people.
Yeah.
Something.
For his people, I guess.
His group. All right. So
Okay.
All right.
Creek said Skibbityverse in the chat. Can I report him?
Ban. Just straight up ban.
I reported it for hate speech and misinformation.
Jeez.
Anyway,
All right, anyway.
what were you saying, Genos?
So my next character here is of course Skibbity Toilet.
Okay, I am banning PapaGenos.
No. So my next character is Willy Wonka. Nobody's said Willy Wonka yet. Yeah.
Nice.
So there's a lot of iterations of Willy Wonka at this point. I would picture him as kind of just like a cartoony, not necessarily the Gene Wilder one or the newer one or
like a sort of original design that's pulls from them.
Yeah, just a generic Willy Wonka cartoony design. But I think there's a lot of cool moveset potential you can do with that. You could do the there's a lot of candy moves and stuff that he could do, and he's just an interesting, unique character that I think would be really cool to get in this game. It's something that WB has. I don't know if they probably don't have the ownership of the Roald Dahl book, but they have some sort of
yeah, but it's also in
right.
public domain now, so.
Oh, is it? Okay, so yeah, they can definitely do Willy Wonka then.
Yeah. I had Willy Wonka on my list, and he made it far enough that I had a Family Guy version made.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I had like the idea that he could give his teammates like bubble gum that can make them float upward and stuff like that. Just because I like the idea of Willy Wonka in this. I just had somebody. I found out they owned something else, and I'm like, I should probably do that.
I can't remember who I cut or who I replaced him with, but Willy Wonka was on mine till the very last minute. I swapped him out because I realized the main reason that I wanted him wasn't even him, but I wanted the Chocolate Factory as a stage, and I wanted it so that once you died, slowly Oompa Loompas would show up on the stage and sing about how you fucked up.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
What do you get when you forget to tech? 50% and a pain in the neck.
That'd be pretty.
I don't like
that'd
the
be
sound
great.
of that.
I didn't even realize that Charlie and Chocolate Factory was a Warner Brothers property. It shows how much they own.
Yeah.
Okay, basically, if it's a
exactly.
live-action movie, here's what I did. If it's a live-action movie that should be in consideration, see if there's a Tom and Jerry crossover.
There is one.
There is one, yeah.
There is one for Willy Wonka.
There's one for Willy Wonka, The Wizard of Oz, a whole bunch of shit.
That's kind of how I picture him in Multiversus too. Would be that Tom and Jerry cartoon look.
Yeah, oddly, I was thinking the
3D,
same thing.
So
yeah.
I didn't include it, but I did consider just putting John Cena on my roster at one point. Just straight and using the one from the Scooby-Doo movie. That's the icon.
Scooby-Doo's another good places to look for things that can get in Multiverses.
Yeah.
The background of Space Jam 2, the Lego Dimensions game, Tom and Jerry cartoon, Scooby-Doo cartoon, the crossovers with that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There's some interesting stuff that'll pop up when you look into that thing, like those things. So.
All right, then let's see what have you got.
Let's see.
Oh, hey!
Johnny Bravo. This is why
Someone
I
has
stayed
him.
quiet during the previous section. Johnny is probably my most wanted Cartoon Network character. I really liked him in Lunchtime Explosion. I think it was really cool how he had Wario bike and then a boomerang comb.
Nice.
But honestly, I think if I were to design him myself, it would probably be something closer to like Fish Bungeon 3000 from Slap City and Framemakers, where he's constantly posing.
You need
The monkey dance either has to be a taunt or like an attack.
He knows like karate. Neutral jabs.
Yeah.
He does know karate, you're right.
He knows Don Knotts.
He does know Don Knotts.
When they were teasing all the banana hints, a lot of people were also thinking Johnny because do the monkey.
Yeah.
I was thinking Don Knotts when they were doing that for some reason. I can't explain it.
Well, I mean this in the nicest way possible. I think you should be studied in a hospital.
All right.
Cool. What have you got then, Huff?
All right. I originally had another DC character because it would just be a row, but then I found out that they acquired this at one point. I'm like, fucking, I'm doing that. That's I'm gonna be honest. This might be my favorite character on the roster that we have. So let's go with Mad Magazine's Spy.
Oh. Nice.
I grew up with Mad Magazine. And like I just really love Mad Magazine. Like basically the spies are just like two guys that want to
just blow each other up.
They're like Itchy and Scratchy from like the Simpsons because they're like also like more adult oriented and gory than Tom and Jerry, which is what they're a parody of. And I think that you would just get away with a lot of unique concepts with the spies that would just be really fun. Like bombs, guns, whatever they have. They have like thousands of issues to pull from.
Yeah.
They would have one of those. They could have a moveset similar to Tom and Jerry too, where like Tom and Jerry are trying to kill each other the whole time, but it's hurting everyone else.
Yep.
You know. So.
I thought about that. I just didn't know if it would work with two bigger characters.
Two spies.
I mean, the victory pose has got to be the V sign, of course.
Oh yeah, definitely. But yeah, Spy versus Spy. Shout out to it. I love Mad Magazine. Throwing it back at you, Nan.
All right.
Wait, anybody else notice that Spy vs. Spy looks a lot like Dodo?
It does, yeah.
It does.
I've never noticed that. I've never looked at those characters as being like, oh, they look the same.
That's where it's
seeing them now.
We know where they adopted Phineas Flynn from now.
It's a product of crossbreeding.
All right, yeah, we're on the final row now, and I'm going to round off my sitcom quartet with Alf.
Yes!
Nice.
So Alf would actually be a fun one to have in the game. He's like a pretty well-known character. Like, when I was a kid, I'm pretty sure I had like an Alf soft toy, and I don't think I've ever watched the show. So like, it's like a big 90s icon is Alf.
Yeah, he's back.
Yeah, in Pog form.
Pog form, yeah. Pog form Alf.
And because he's like
I feel like this
alien.
stream has just been a bunch of random references.
I feel like we've
This is
quoted
what happens
The Simpsons
with Warner Brothers.
at least double digits.
We've quoted The Simpsons more than Family Guy, and Family Guy has its own segment on here.
So, yeah, Alf, I just think he would fit in. He's an alien, they could pull stuff from that. And everyone likes it, he's back. You could play into that. So, yeah, that's Alf. So, what's the first one in your final row, Genos?
So the first one on my final row, actually someone we already talked about, so I won't spend too much time talking about him, is Ace Ventura, Pet Detective.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah. I was between, so my favorite like 90s Jim Carrey movie is Dumb and Dumber. So Lloyd Christmas is from Dumb and Dumber, but I feel like the moveset potential isn't really there for that character too much. And he's not that like the movie's iconic, but I don't know if the character is as iconic as Ace Ventura. And then the other big Jim Carrey movie of that time period was The Mask, who I think has a better moveset potential. But I was never that big on The Mask. I do like it. It was probably, out of those three Jim Carrey movies, it was probably at the bottom. Ace Ventura was my middle movie, but I think he's the most iconic Jim Carrey 90s character. And I do feel like you need one of those on here if you're doing Warner Brothers stuff, because all three of those movies are so iconically big 90s. Like, it was just such a thing back then. So I went with Ace Ventura, and I totally agree with the animal-based moveset is the way to go, and there's some cool stuff you can do with that. So that's a character I put here for that spot, which was being fought over by multiple Jim Carreys.
This is the Jim Carrey space.
Bit off topic, but I need to bring this up. Hey, Aiden.
Yeah.
I've had people tell me I look like him before. Do I?
Like Ace Ventura?
Yeah.
Does your hair stick up like that?
Yeah, do you do the hair thing?
I was gonna say I don't see it.
Okay, yes, I have the hair is the thing.
I don't see it.
Okay, follow up. Is that an insult?
I wouldn't take it as such because I don't know how to react to it. So
I've had people tell me I look like so many random characters and I just don't know if that's a good thing. Like, I've had people say I look like Donnie Darko and then Joe Higashi from KOF and then Kai from Digimon. And I'm like, are these compliments?
there's a photo out there of when I was in high school. There was some show we did that was like a prom show, and I wore, I'm pretty sure it was a Dumb and Dumber Halloween costume of like the powder blue tuxedo, and I looked exactly like Austin Powers, like thick glasses, exact same hair. So I just like walked around just doing a horrible Austin Powers impersonation.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, baby.
All right. Continuing on, Aiden, what you got now?
Oh yeah, let's see what I got.
Hey.
My name is Grimmy, and I'm come to reap your eternal soul. I'm not going to talk about it too much. I'm kind of surprised this is the one character we all had in common, in a way.
Do we all have Billy Mandy eyes?
I
don't
know.
Yeah, no, Huff doesn't.
Okay.
But
yeah, Grim and Gwimbly are the two on the most.
Grimbly. That's their ship
Yeah,
name.
Grimbly.
I ship it.
Ew, ew, ew. Yeah. But yeah, no, Billy and Mandy is my favorite Cartoon Network show, probably. Grimm's probably second my most wanted. There were a lot of characters I thought about that had, like, scythe-adjacent weapons, and I'm like, no, none of them take priority over Grimm for me. So, yeah. On to you, Huff.
Alright, so, a lot of people tend to talk about the video games that they own. Everybody's first thing is, like, Scribblenauts or Mortal Kombat. Those are the big two. Mm-hmm. I decided to look back even further, and this is one of the most influential games that they have that people just don't give a fuck about. So I decided to go with Thor from Gauntlet.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah,
sure.
Gauntlet is an old arcade game that has been around for a really long time, and it is one of the first, like, big breakout successes, and also one of the earliest, like, 4-player game. And I think that in terms of, like, representation and, like, importance, it's probably up there with Mortal Kombat and how important it is to the industry, because it is a very, very important to it all, you know.
Gaming history-wise, Gauntlet definitely was, like, it's weird. Gauntlet was talked about very highly, I feel like, back in the day, and it's kind of one of those things that's fallen off being talked about in a weird way. Like,
how did Warner Brothers...
I do agree.
How did Warner Brothers come to acquire Gauntlet?
They bought, like, Atari's back catalog at some point.
Isn't Gauntlet Midway?
No, it was Atari originally.
Yeah, I don't know how, but they do have it.
I think it's Midway. I think they own everything Midway because they own, like, Joust and Rampage.
Oh wait, no, Midway bought Atari at one point. That's what it was.
Okay. And then Atari, and then because Warner Brothers did the newest Gauntlet game. Yeah. From 2014, which would have been after Midway went bust.
Yeah, like they own all of, like, Atari's old stuff. Like they own, I think Spy Hunter was also an Atari game.
No, they have Spy Hunter.
No, I'm saying I thought that was an Atari game, not Midway.
Oh. Okay.
Right, so my next one. So this one is also anime, but this is one that fits a bit more into the Warner Brothers thing. I know we already have the Powerpuff Girls sort of being hinted at and rumored at. Why not the anime version of the Powerpuff Girls as well?
Yeah, I knew somebody was going to do this. I knew someone was going to do it.
I remember watching this show when I was younger, and I quite like it, and I think it's cool. And I think I wanted them for Punch Time Explosion as well, actually, thinking about it. Which obviously never happened. I at the time didn't realise how niche it was. But, you know, why not? I think it could be cool. I put them together. They could easily be separate, but I just decided to put them together so I can have all three of them on here.
I'm curious if they could make them like alts for normal Powerpuff Girls. I know the bodies are way different, so I don't know if you could do it, but it does seem like one of those Like, if they want to sell skins, like, that's a good Powerpuff Girl
Yeah,
skin that
they
would
can make
probably
a costume
sell. Like,
based on this style. The thing with the
yeah, they could do that.
Yeah. Thing with Powerpuff Girls is they have like some similar powers to the regular Powerpuff Girls, but they also have like completely different
weapons,
abilities.
right?
They all have weapons and stuff. Yeah.
I wonder if they could add that as perk cards. That would be a good nod. You could give the normal Powerpuff Girls like the hammer and stuff. And,
yeah, I just think I think it's a really interesting part of the Powerpuff Girls series history, and it's quite a good. It's a fun little like magical girl anime. So.
It reminds me of the Lilo and Stitch anime, where it's just like this exists.
Yeah.
Question mark.
And like in all animes, they like pilot a giant robot, so they can
obviously
use that. They have a big mech.
Doesn't Spider-Man do that in Japan too? Like
yes,
Spider-Man
there is a giant spider mech as well.
Yeah.
Leopardon.
Oh, is it? Why did I say Leopardon?
So yeah, I wanted to go for this because this is the only chance they're going to have to get in a game. I feel like with Multiverse and how wide it might reach. All right, what have you got next, Eunice?
All right, so my next one is my horror rep icon here, and I went with here's Johnny, Jack Torrance from The Shining.
Wow.
So.
I'm really happy with the icon.
Yeah, that's a good icon. This was. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was just nothing.
What else would it have been?
Yeah, what else would it have been?
That's the face. Yeah, no, I love The Shining. I love Kubrick movies. This was really close between Alex DeLarge from A Clockwork Orange and Jack Torrance. But I feel like Jack Torrance is more doable in the game. And I don't know, whatever. I went with Jack Torrance from The Shining. I think it's a cool character. I really love an Overlook Hotel stage. He could be an axe wielder. We already have Jason Voorhees kind of doing that a little bit, but I just love to see it. I don't know. I'm a big fan of The Shining, so.
Right. Aiden, let's see what you got next.
See.
The Monarch. Interesting.
Monarch!
There were a lot of Adult Swim characters that I had considered. Like, I considered Aqua Teen Hunger Force. I had the Warden from Super Jail on at one point. Xavier Renegade Angel. Eric Andre was on here for a bit. But I decided on the Monarch because I love Venture Brothers. It's probably my favorite Adult Swim show. And I think if you do a character, it has to either be Brock Samson or the Monarch.
The only other option is like, what, Henchman 21?
Henchman 21, yeah, but I feel like you have to go with the Monarch. He's kind of emblematic of the entire show's shtick.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I had the Monarch on mine for a bit. I decided to swap him out for somebody later on, but yeah, the Monarch is just really fun. And also his wife is named Dr. Mrs. the Monarch.
And she's cool.
Venture Brothers is great. I'd recommend it.
Alright. The Huff. What's your next one?
Alright, so, like I said, for Mortal Kombat, I was originally going to do Liu Kang. Because I just wanted a traditional martial artist. But then I had the idea for this icon. And then, I had to do this instead.
Nice.
Scorpion stings the competition. Yeah, we talked about Scorpion before.
Yeah.
I consider doing Sub-Zero, but if I was doing Simon, I'm not doing Sub-Zero. And honestly, I should have probably went with Liu Kang, just because Liu Kang's one of the few Mortal Kombat characters I give a shit about. But Scorpion's funny.
Yeah, he's a funny guy. And he's the face of the series.
Emblematic of the series, too, for having too many ninjas.
Yeah. Alright.
So, yeah, you're up.
So mine's the last Cartoon Network pick I had. And a series that no one has picked yet. But is really good. It's one of my favorites. I went with Jack Spicer from Shaolin Showdown. Which I loved that show. It's basically a shonen anime as a cartoon. All with the various different powers that they got and the different competitions that they had to go through. I went with Jack because he's the main recurring antagonist, and I think like with all of his gadgets and the different relics and stuff that he gets on his side, there's like a lot of fun things you could do moveset wise. Like, I think Omni, who's the main character, would be kind of boring. He's also just a regular martial artist, but with does he have water bending? Is that his element? It's been so long now, I don't remember. But like,
I haven't seen it.
It's really good. They did a reboot that's really, or a sequel at a series that's really not good.
I heard the sequel series is okay aside from the art style. And
yeah, I think yeah, that probably sounds right. I don't think they could really mess it up, but the art style wasn't great, and like it was. I think it got received quite negatively because Shaolin Showdown is one of those series that was really popular, and then it just kind of it ended on a good note, but it didn't feel like an ending point. It just sort of like ended. So everyone was keen to see what was happening. Omi, not Omni, sorry. Everyone was keen to see what happened next, and the sequel series, which is why the sequel series got made. And it just didn't do as well. But anyway, point is, it was a really good show. It's fit perfectly for combat with the different relics. And Jack's just a really fun, like, antagonist in it. As this, like, whiny teenage like super villain type, you like from The Incredibles, you know, the main villain of the first movie of that. He has that kind of vibes, but with like a ton of tech and actual magic relics that he manages to get from competitions. So,
sold me.
Yeah, it's really good.
You compared him to Syndrome, and my ears picked up.
Shaolin Showdown is like, it doesn't get talked about nearly as much, but it was absolutely up there as one of the popular Cartoon Network shows. Same for Codename Kids Next Door, which gets talked about a lot more, and I did consider putting a character from that on the roster as well.
I'm surprised nobody did. That was before my time, so
yeah.
I was gonna do Father at one point, but.
Yeah, I had such. I mean, it's so tight with my Cartoon Network character.
Yeah,
I already gave a huge.
They have so many.
Oh, blocked out. Yeah, but that's its shout out. I was going to do either number 1 or number 5 from that, but then just didn't have any space for it. All right, cool. What you got up next then, Genos?
All right, so we're coming down to the last couple characters here. It's going to get a little weird, but I couldn't not do this character when I found out the original cartoon show, or not cartoon show, the original cartoon movie of this is WB, and I was like, oh, well, this has to go on here because this character needs to get in a platform fighter. It is the Grinch. We have to get the Grinch.
Now you see why Jack is so mad. That is why I put them next to each other. By the way.
Grinch has stolen Christmas.
Actually, wait, hang on, Nan. I hate to ask, can we swap Jack and Ace position? I want to see how that looks.
Or Jack and Ace Ventura.
Yeah.
Whoops! The Grinch did. The Grinch stole the stream. So give me 2 seconds to recover this. Sorry about that. You can blame Huff for telling me to move the Grinch.
Static.
Okay, so we're not moving the Grinch. That's gonna stay. we're gonna keep that.
The Grinch took
yeah, the Grinch stole the stream. Yeah, sorry about that. Up. Yeah, we are back up. We are back and live.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, fellas.
Yeah.
The bit was too funny.
Can they hear us now?
Yeah, they can hear us, yeah. I started the stream like immediately before I jumped in.
Oh
yeah.
Link says to move away from your mic.
Yeah, so it's because I'm moving around the my desk trying to set everything up. So give me 2 seconds. Go on, continue talking about the Grinch if you had anything else to say.
So he, ruins Smash speculation. He ruins streams. He's just, he could come into Multiversus and cause problems. It's gonna be great. So, I don't know if I really have much else to say. Hey, moveset wise, like he could actually be a decently cool character too, despite the Smash joke of the Grinch. It actually could be a cool to get Dr. Seuss stuff in Multiverses and to have just the Grinch as a character for that is pretty cool. So yeah,
nice.
Have a sled. You could have presents and a tree and all sorts of stuff like that.
I'd love if for his crouch, he can do like the little slide serpentine thing.
Yeah, that'd be a great crawl. You go up maybe the side of the stage or
Marvin
something.
has it too, where he when you crouch, he goes into his helmet and can still walk around with his feet.
Yeah, you should be able to slither around as the Grinch.
All right, everything's back to where it was before. All
right,
Aiden, let's see what you've got.
Oh, sure. Would you be able to stream it to the?
Oh yes,
chat?
sorry, I already opened it anyway. It's the I can't pronounce her name. Sorry. Tyranny.
Oh, okay, this pick. Okay.
Yeah, go Unga Bunga on this.
Yeah, okay. So we were talking about Duck Dodgers before, and I was specifically holding my tongue because I love Marvin's my favorite character. We're gonna get Daffy. No, it's an inevitability. I wanted to do Tyranny because she surprisingly has a lot of moveset potential. She's a ninja. She has battle armor.
Yep.
She's a stage singer. She's got all of the Martian robots. There's a surprising amount of moveset potential for a character that most people remember for the design.
Yeah, I really like Tyranny. I think she's like a really cool villain. It's part of, I put Duck Dodgers on here, right?
Yeah. I think she might be one of the most, I don't want to say neglected Looney Tunes characters, but, out of any Looney Tunes character, I have never seen a character that is more requested to appear in modern Looney Tunes projects quite like Tyranny. Which is, I'm sure, not fully, because of her character, but...
The internet do be...
I like to think that I had noble intentions beyond just the initial reaction.
No, she is a good pick. I don't see her getting in over Daffy.
Oh, no, I was saying as a companion piece.
If they're if they do decide to lean into the Duck Dodgers side of that, then she's a very good pick to go along with Marvin and Daffy.
It's kind of the same situation as Music Meister, where it's I'd like to represent specific shows with their most popular standout character.
Yes.
And give them a chance to kind of stand out and represent that show.
Yeah.
What's cool with Multiverses is they What's cool with Multiverses is they definitely can do the more obscure stuff. They're not afraid to do that, which is cool. So it could happen, with things that otherwise you'd kind of think, that probably won't happen. But with Multiverses, it definitely might. It's possible.
Anyway, what do you think of?
I think that we should do a character that we've brought up before, and yet nobody has done yet. And we've brought up the series multiple times, but yeah, I think it's time that we did the funny witch.
All right.
Yeah, Wizard of Oz is definitely the most important thing that company has ever released, period. And I feel like it should be represented somehow, and I think the Wicked Witch is just the
best
way to go with it.
She is the good way. I've been wondering how much of the Wicked Witch they would take from Wicked, given that it's also getting a movie coming out.
I was gonna have her slot named Elmira because that's her name in it. Who the fuck is Elmira then?
That's the character from Tiny Toons.
Why would I say that? I've never watched Tiny Toons. Whatever, moving on. I was gonna name it Alphaba because that looked better, but they only used it in the musical, and I didn't know if they had access to it, so I just fucking called it the Wicked Witch. You know who it is.
Yeah.
It might go either way. It really depends on what parts of the Wicked Witch they want to lean into. The wizard, the more iconic Wizard of Osborn, or the Wicked movie that's coming out that they want to promote.
Is that Warner Brothers? I can't remember.
I don't know if it is Warner Brothers or not. I would assume it is because it's a live-action movie.
For some reason, I don't think it is, actually. I think I've seen so much Multiversus stuff over the last week or two with people posting places and stuff, and I feel like someone said it wasn't somewhere.
It's Universal.
Oh, okay. All right, well then, never mind.
Either way, the movies are still public domain.
Yes.
So, or the
Wizard
books.
of Oz
whatever.
is, yeah.
So I'm gonna throw this back at you, Nan.
Cool. This one's for that one guy in the chat every time I brought up anime. There he is. It's Dio. Because Warner Brothers also does the JoJo anime in Japan. So this is another one of those anime series that they could have access to. Yeah. And if I'm gonna do anyone from JoJo, I'm gonna do Dio.
Yeah, I knew you were. I was surprised when you did Gintama over JoJo's, just because I know you.
The
Yeah.
dichotomy of seeing Elf, Dio, and Eustace within range of each other is sending me.
And Charlie Sheen.
True, I forgot about Charlie Sheen.
It's an eclectic roster, but that's what I want from Multiverse.
It's what it should be.
Yeah. Yeah, no, Dio was actually one of the last characters I added to this, just because I was trying to think I was just coming up with more ideas that I wanted to see there, and I was just like, now that I'd put Elizabeth down, I was like, and the Powerpuff Girls, I was like, oh, I'm doing anime already, fine. Dio it is. Yeah. I think everyone knows how Dio plays. Time stop stuff, steamroller stuff, knives, stands. We can move on to Genos's next one.
Okay, yeah, so we're down to the last three. This is probably my number one most wanted, I think, character, for if it's even a character, because I'm kind of, my last three are all real people. But yeah, it's AVGN, James Rolfe, the Angry Video Game Nerd.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know if
I
he
checked.
is...
I believe the game was published by Adult Swim. That's why.
Yes, yeah. So he does have a little bit of Warner Brothers connection there. Yeah, and I think he was also almost in one of the King Kong or Godzilla movies. Like, they almost had him play like a background character or something, and like his schedule didn't line up. I know that doesn't count because it didn't happen. Anyway, I really want AVGN. In AVGN, he fights Bugs Bunny. He's also fought Jason Voorhees. Like, I want to see that in Multiversus and actually solidify it as no, that's legit.
Give him a losing matchup to Bugs.
Yeah.
I can't believe when you turn the adult language off, they just remove him from the roster.
He's just gone.
This game is a bunch of silly Billy Willies.
Yeah, all of his lines he's just silent if he's shut off swearing.
They just dub over his, they just have him in the booth insulting people, and then they dub over it with some guy going, "Nice fella."
It's just the one AVGN clip where he goes, "You're a poopy head."
You're a poopy face.
That's all he says. It's his only line.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd honestly love to see AVGN here. AVGN, it's one of my favorite YouTuber, things. It's one of the first YouTubers I watched and everything, and I think he's hilarious. And the fact that he's fought some of the characters on the Multiversus roster in his show, I want to see it. I want to actually be able to play that. It's officially in a game. So I'm pushing for that one.
Right. Let's see what you got, Aiden. Oh,
Benson. Okay.
Nice.
I initially was torn between Benson and Muscle Man. I chose Benson because I think he's Muscle Man's funny, but I think Benson going absolute full rage mode and just turning red and beating the hell out of people is funny. I'd give him a move where he just flips out completely. Maybe just give him a rage install. I can't think of the character now. But maybe, I don't know, maybe he spits out gumballs or something.
Have him perform the, oh god, I'm blanking on the name, Akuma's Raging Demon.
Yes!
Yes, that would work.
Maybe, there's I don't want to keep on saying counter move, but, maybe there's a move where he fires you. And it just launches you with flame knockback.
That's his win quote, just, you're fired, and then kicking a golf cart over.
Maybe, if they want to give him a support thing, he can bring out the locked employee appreciation box and pull out, a random small buff for one of his allies.
That's true. Are they keeping that thing in the reboot, the all connection with teams and stuff?
They are, but I think they're also downplaying, because I know they removed the support role.
Right, okay. Because that was like a big part of the original Multiversus.
They've reclassed characters, so like I know Rain Dog isn't support anymore. I think he's tank mage. I don't know.
Alright.
Yeah, and it does seem like they're downplaying the 2v2 just in the marketing alone. I've seen
because
more
a
like
lot of
1v1
people,
stuff.
a lot of people like 1v1s, and that's fair.
Yeah. I think the game wanted to differentiate itself as much as possible before. I think they've now realized that they can stand alone without having to do the 2v2 thing as their gimmick. Like, Multiversus has enough of a gimmick being a WB platform fighter.
Yeah.
You know,
I honestly
doesn't need more.
think this is a big thing in just Smash clones in general. I think so many of them are terrified of just being a Smash clone that they have to force some kind of unique gimmick that usually makes the game worse.
Those gimmicks make them worse.
Yeah, like PlayStation All-Stars is the obvious one, where they
we'll
have the supers is the only way to kill them, and it just completely ruins the balance of the game.
I'm pretty sure Cartoon Network Punch Time Explosion just flat out uses PlayStation All-Stars, like, mechanics.
It does.
I think it does, yeah.
Like the same thing where supers are the thing that kill them, and you beat people up and take orbs from them.
Yeah. Like, the only ones that, like, sort of... Like, because even, like, well, I think it's like the One Piece and Shonen Jump platform games, they just play like Smash but have health bars as well, and that's, like, the only difference between them.
I mean, even like Nick All-Star Brawl, the first game was like, okay, well, we're gonna do this whole rock, paper, scissors gimmick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
they
then-
should just embrace being a platform fighter with Smash Brothers rules, and just make it unique through the characters and stuff.
It's silly how Rivals is the one that got that.
Yeah. Alright, Huff, what have you got?
Alright, with the announcement of Jason, I felt like, I should probably have a horror character on here, so what's the other big series they own? It's... Oh, wait, hang on. Fuck, I forgot about this bit. Oh, yeah. So originally I was going to have Beetlejuice, and I looked up Beetlejuice Family Guy, and this is the only image that exists. And it is just an image of a girl babysitting Peter saying, the list explicitly says no Beetlejuice. So I dropped Beetlejuice and added Freddy Cougar.
I figured Freddy... I figured Freddy... That's a cool icon. It's gonna come
I'm proud of this one.
Yeah, if you have Jason, then you should really have Freddy eventually.
Yeah. Freddy is kind of, like, a really simple thing to do, because, like, the only discussion I could really think of to have with Freddy was, is it okay to have horror characters, and then we just got Jason, so it's like, yes.
Yes
It
is the
is,
answer.
so... Yeah, fuck it, put him in.
Yeah. Alright, my penultimate character is with one we've already talked about, and it's Space Ghost.
Ooh.
I too love
nice.
Space Ghost. So we don't really need to spend any time on my penultimate
You 2-bit
choice.
chicken McNugget.
But so, Genos, what's your penultimate character?
Sure, yeah. So the second last character I have here actually was a character that almost didn't make it on my list, though I really wanted them. And then I think some things with some of the characters not being WB, and I had more room, so I was like, all right, I'm going to put this character on. Is a real-life character, Weird Al Yankovic.
You know what? Sure.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of, like, real life, just human beings that are characters enough to get in this game, because we have LeBron James. It's like, I feel like we need more of that.
Yeah, we're going to get Charlie Sheen.
Yeah, Charlie Sheen. But I think Weird Al fits the bill perfectly for someone who, is a character, who he is. And tons of skins and all costume potential, moveset potential from all the different music videos and stuff he's done over the years. The Weird Al Show, UHF. There's a lot, going back with Weird Al to pull from for this guy as a character in this game. It would be really cool to see. So yeah, I'm gunning for Weird Al.
Yeah,
I saw Weird Al live. It was a great experience.
I really want to see him live.
My first concert ever was Weird Al, and he was in Albany, New York, and he called it Albany. And 8-year-old me thought it was the funniest thing in the world.
You just give him alts based on all the characters he's voiced that Warner Brother owns as well.
That too, yeah. He's voiced a lot of characters for things.
Yeah.
He's in Billy and Mandy as the sorting hat, but it was like a squid.
Yeah, oh yeah.
He was on
Harry
the Last Week Tonight.
He's in Adventure Time as Banana Guy.
Yeah.
I forgot he was in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, a friend of mine actually, it was like 2, maybe 3 weeks ago, a friend of mine actually saw him in, not the Walmart in my town, but a Walmart in like 2 towns over. And it was definitely him because his daughter goes to school over there, goes to college there. So it was like a Weird Al spot. They posted that on Facebook, and I was so mad I wasn't at that Walmart. Like, I really
You got a news alert that said Weird Al is in the area. Panic.
Yeah.
The Al Amber Alert.
Run.
The Amber Alert.
The Amber Alert.
Amber Alert. Apparently, he was the announcer in the Billy and Mandy game. I didn't realize that.
Oh, really?
That's pretty
He
cool.
fought Otis and Back to the Barnyard.
Yeah, it's one of the best scenes in the show.
He was in Johnny Bravo as well, just as himself.
Yes, it was. I think it was him, Space Ghost, and Don Knotts.
Wow, that's a combination.
That taught Johnny how to talk to women.
All right.
But yeah, he's great. So I want to see him.
Yeah. All right, Aiden. Let's see what your penultimate choice is. Oh wait, no, that's
no.
You've
okay,
done
well,
it.
We can keep him up.
Yeah, we'll just keep him up.
Mr. Frog.
You put him in the wrong order.
I eat the bug. This is the end.
I numbered it right.
Yeah, you can just leave it as is. We'll reveal my penultimate character later.
Yeah.
I correctly predicted that everyone was going to do Gwimbly. So I was like, I want to do a different Smiling Friends character for diversity's sake.
Mm-hmm.
I initially was just going to do Pim and Charlie. But then we had not the last episode, but the episode before, where they have the presidents, and Mr. Frog runs for president. Mm-hmm. And then he has, for some reason, the pumpkin bomb from Sam Raimi's Spider-Man film that turns people into skeletons.
Yes,
that right there is my justification. That's his side special.
Yeah. He also beats people with hammers.
Yeah.
Yes, he beats people with hammers. He steals things. He empties barrels of toxic waste.
He eats people.
People.
He's got much like Audrey 2, he has a vor move. What else?
Yeah, Mr. Frog feels like the obvious other choice from Smiling Friends
if they didn't do Gwimbly, if they didn't make a joke where it's like this character is in a platform fighter, I guarantee you Mr. Frog would be the one. You know,
my biggest concern with the Smiling Friends character is that the show's animation is so erratic and fast-paced that I don't know how well it would translate into Multiversus. It'd be difficult doing it in a 3D fighting game in the first place, but also Multiversus tends to be a little bit on the slower side when it comes to animation. Mm-hmm. So that was my biggest concern, but at the same time, he's got the pumpkin bomb from Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2 that turns you into a skeleton. So it evens out.
Yeah, that's justification, I think. Alright, Huff, let's see what your penultimate one is.
Alright, don't reveal it yet.
Okay.
Okay, so I wanted to do a WB Japan one like you did, and I found out that they own Mob Psycho, and that is my favorite thing. Mob Psycho is my favorite series, but I didn't want to do that because I don't like the idea of mob in a fighting game, and then Reagan is funny, but I didn't want to do that. Then the other options that they own are JoJo's, or not own, they have access to, or JoJo's, Gintama, Food Wars, and stuff like that. And it's either I haven't seen it or I don't care.
Yeah.
And then, and a couple of them are Shonen Jump, and we did a Shonen Jump roster. I'd rather not double dip. I'd rather pick something that we can only do here. So looking at it further, they had stuff like Summer Wars, which originally it wasn't going to do because that was a movie about people online fighting. So it's oh, that fits. It's over a decade old. Couldn't use it. And then the other series that they own are rom-coms, Prison School, which I just can't do. something called Is It Wrong to Pick Up Chicks in a Dungeon? Which after reading that title, I said, I don't care what it's about, no. And there was one more series that they had that was pretty big. So, at the beginning of a little bit of a side tangent, earlier this year, I decided to, like, do something to, like, expand my palette of media. So I, like, rolled a bunch of names of my friends, and they got to pick something for me to do. Like, to watch, read, play, whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one of those series was the one that I ended up going with here, because I didn't realize how big this series is. This series is like a MCU-style thing, where it's like multiple side series going on at once.
Mm-hmm.
And so far, it's a series with a movie and about 125 episodes, okay?
Okay. So
I ran the math.
Oh.
That is approximately a fifth of all of the content available for it.
Wow.
They've only adapted that much. So, yeah, I said, fuck it, I'm gonna go with it. I went with a certain magical index. I went with Accelerator because he's funny.
Accelerator? I do not know who this is.
Also another one I paid for because,
Wow. Then we keep it
yeah,
up.
I spent money on this fucker. The easiest way to describe him is he has, like, a really weird power set. He has the ability to manipulate vectors, which is like an object in motion, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he can alter the direction and magnitude that object is moving in. So he effectively has Gojo's power.
Yeah. And Gojo's hair.
Yeah, he's effectively Gojo, but what if Gojo was even more full of himself, a psychopath, and even stronger? Like, this character is bullshit, and he's just really entertaining, so I decided to go with it. So,
vector and, like, knockback manipulation is just an inherently interesting idea for a platform fighter to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Because, like, I know Ori in Rivals has something similar to that, and then there's obviously, like, vectoring when that was a thing in Smash 4.
Oh god, don't remind me of that.
That'd be so funny.
Yeah.
To have that as a purposeful mechanic.
He basically can do whatever the fuck he wants, because he can, like, create barriers out of things. He can just stop the air so he can stop moving, like, when he's flying. I think that a character like that has a lot to do. Also, yeah, the anime is, like, 8 different fucking series, and it consists of a certain magical index, a certain scientific railgun, a certain scientific accelerator, a certain scientific astral buddy, and, like, 6 more that I'm not naming.
I've heard of a certain magical index, and that's the only one of them I've heard of. I didn't realize it was so big.
This series is like MHA to me, where I have a love-hate relationship with it, because I do hate a lot of it, but I also like it at the same time. So I just decided, fuck it, I'm gonna put it on here, because I have more of a connection to it than the other options. So I just said, fuck it, I'm going with this one, you know?
Yeah. Alright. We're now on to everyone's last options, and so this, for me, is the reason I actually decided to put anime ones in on my list at all, so that I could justify adding this stupid bit. I have the Warner Brothers on my list, who are also from Gintama. Whenever I think of Warner Brothers and anime, there's this one scene at the very end of the first Gintama movie where they're all fighting over what the sequel movie is going to be about, and then the literal Warner Brothers show up to complain about the fact that they were tricked into supporting a Gintama movie because they thought it was as big as Naruto and Bleach. And it's just these two guys in, like, American New York, like, trilbies and suits with a very strong American twang to their fucking voice. And it just makes me think. I just laugh every time I think about it. And to me, they're the Warner Brothers. I straight up forgot that the Animaniacs were meant to be the Warner Brothers, because I had these two in my head the whole time. Yeah. So I this was like the third thing I put on here after Gwynblade, and then I was like, all right, but it's going to be really strange if I just have this as, like, a character from Gintama on here, and I worked backwards from there for some of these. But those are my actual last pick. Get them in here. Give me the final character they ever add to Multiversus. Just do it. They can cancel characters. That can be their special.
They remove them from the game.
They get them more. They get stronger the more characters are removed.
Their finisher is shutting down the service.
Yeah.
Their super move is adding a persona character, which means the game ends the services.
It's like, oh dear God.
I stole that bit from a friend. I'm sorry, Wario the Legend.
I'm not.
All right, Genos, what's your final character?
Character who probably has similar abilities to your Warner Brothers final character. Yeah, this one is... sometimes you put a character in a fighting game, not because you want to play as them, but because you want to play against them. My last character is David Zaslav.
I knew somebody would!
I knew it was happening.
And he could potentially, cancel characters or the game or whatever. But honestly, put this guy in. You can fight him. You can beat him up. He can have humiliating costumes. You can try to win for him to put him in and fight him in that and stuff like that. And he could cancel shows and stuff. I just feel like there you go. And maybe it would stop Multiversus from ever getting canceled because it's like, hey, you're in the game, buddy.
You're gonna cancel yourself, huh?
You're gonna cancel it? Come on.
Imagine having to explain to your bank that you did indeed spend $500 on the David Zaslav maid outfit for Multiversus.
Yeah, see, that's what I want. Humiliating costumes, like a maid outfit, or he's in his underwear and he's really out of shape.
Girl David Zaslav.
Yeah. It's ridiculous stuff, and he just, yep.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice final pick. We'll see what Aiden's is then. KO. Nice.
Yes. KO is a strong contender for one of my favorite modern Cartoon Network shows. I think KO is in the unique position of being quite possibly the most... What's the word I'm looking for? Qualified character to be in a Multiversus game. In Multiversus.
Yeah. He's the most fitting, just based on what his concept is.
He is, you'd think at his core he would be a Shoto function and would have Ryo moves. Mm-hmm. But he actually has a lot of different abilities. Instead of throwing Hadoukens, he's got flame fists that he can rapid fire. I imagine for his down special, he canonically learns the spin dash from Sonic the Hedgehog himself. So that was my down special idea for him. Aside from that, he also has kind of a transformation called TKO, which is his equivalent to Shadow the Hedgehog, where he gets all edgy and turns purple and listens to punk music and yells at people.
Yeah,
so wash his hands after going to the bathroom.
He does not, and it's the worst thing he does. But yeah, I feel like KO is a strong contender for they should be in this thing, and they did KO dirty. There are shows that got done dirtier than KO, like Mao Mao, Infinity Train, but they shut that down so fast.
Yeah, no, it's a real shame. I liked OKKO. It was good.
Also, the reactions you can get from him.
Somebody pointed this out in chat, and I'm kind of surprised by it. Nobody did Ben 10.
Oh!
Yeah. I mean, Ben 10 was, the point after my generation of Cartoon Network.
It was the point before mine.
Yeah, it's the Ben 10. I always think of Ben 10 as that era where I stopped caring about Cartoon Network stuff before Adventure Time then came out and was actually really good. when I sort of rolled backwards into being.
Ben 10 was also big during the dead zone time for Cartoon Network as me as well, because there's it's you grow up and you like cartoons and then you get a little edgy as an older teenager or something, and then you kind of mature out of that edginess and go, I like cartoons again. And that Ben 10 was right in my
yeah, same for me.
I'm too cool for Cartoon Network now for a couple years until I'm I'm not.
Yeah, the original Ben 10 series ended when I was 6 and I didn't have cable. So yeah, that was well before I could.
You weren't going to get into it at that point.
Yeah, like, oh no, I'm finally cognizant enough to understand the ending of this show and nothing else. Cool.
Like, my action show growing up was Batman the Brave and the Bold, because my dad was super into Silver Age stuff. He had, like, all the old DC Who's Who comics. So he would sit down and, like, we would just watch Batman together, and he'd point out, like, that's Bawana Beast. He's a character that only appears, like, 3 times.
Yo, Bawana Beast? That's
Cool.
my goat.
Alright. Shall we do it, Huff? Your final character. What thing do you have here?
You brought this up earlier, and I DM'd Aiden about it, and I popped off because, hey, you want to click that one? Oh, wait, next one.
Next one.
That's right, we got Sheldon and... Young Sheldon and... Toon Sheldon! We found the
There
three
we go, we
Infinity
found
Sheldons.
them, they're all there.
I was gonna do this, but then somebody pointed this out to me, and I had a really bad idea. So, this character has appeared on Family Guy.
Okay.
But I thought it would be funnier if I paid that same guy again
Oh, fucking hell.
to draw it and make it look even worse.
Is that what this
So
is?
here we have Godzilla.
Why does he have Steve Smith's face?
I don't know. Let's call it artistic expression.
Jesus Christ.
So yeah, it's Godzilla.
It's Godzilla. You know, you
do
paid
you
for
want
that,
me
so
to
we
say?
have to keep this one now.
Yeah, speaking of which, Huff, when can I get the check in the mail?
I already told you the $500 is coming next week.
Okay, sweet, thank you.
Man, yeah, we've got both King Kong and Godzilla between us both.
Yeah,
Nice.
we did it.
We did it.
We did it. Reddit.
No hicimos.
There we go. Between us all, we have the perfect multiversus thing. Now, if they just want to, take our idea and then make this the next the next 10 years of multiversus content, they can do.
That's the toughest
ahead.
thing, right? Like, when you look at the giant pool of characters, it's like, I want so many things, but I'm also well aware, how quickly, what the pace can be to get us these characters. It's gonna take a while to get to be really satisfying with any one category of things. Is gonna take a while.
This is what I'm super curious about, how obviously when it comes back, 'cause it's not out yet, it comes back on Tuesday. What frequency will they start dropping characters in?
I think that they intend to do an announcement and release every 3 weeks.
Yeah, I heard that, but I feel like that won't last.
That's
Okay.
That's the other thing, is I think they did season 1 a bit too fast when the game first initially launched. Because you got, let me see, you had Iron Giant and Gizmo for the premiere, and then they did Stripe, Black Adam, Rick, and Morty all during the first season, and then season 2 dropped. They're like, here's Marvin. That's all we got.
Yeah, my conjecture is, from what I've been hearing, and I don't know if this is true, I don't even know if I should say if I've been hearing, because this is more so what I've been reading online.
Mm-hmm.
Just based on the fact that I'm a business major, I'm going based on what I think makes sense logically. What I think they did was that they, what they're doing now is that they invested a lot into getting a lot of shit done early.
Mm-hmm.
Building up so they could do that idea of releasing something every 3 weeks or so.
Mm-hmm.
So they're always in the news cycle, and they want to keep that up for 6 months.
Yeah.
And then once they get to that point, then they can slow down and release stuff at a better pace.
Yeah. I think the pace that Pokemon Unite does it is pretty good. They get 6 characters out a year, basically. One every 2 months. And I think that's a reasonable pace.
Yep.
That's my guess for the pace. Again, maybe not at first. Maybe at first they'll try to actually, do a 3-week pace.
Mm-hmm.
Just again for those first 6 months or whatever, just to get a lot of eyes on the game and to try to boost the roster up and get the game just to a place where it's it's a real, it's a real platform fighting game.
Yeah.
But I do think, for the indefinite live service, whatever, I'm guessing 6 to 8 characters a year is probably going to be the pace. Every 2 months with the occasional maybe double up or.
Yeah. Maybe have
something...
like an Echo or something like that. Like, because I know Cake is also Cake is in the game as well as Jake, and I'm pretty sure they play the same, don't they? So
yeah,
right. And there might be some like Banana Guard might have been an easier character to make. They may have a few moments where it's like
that's what Mojo Jojo could be, because they already have the model for it and the voice lines and stuff. Yeah.
So I think every once in a while maybe they'll get a little quicker pace than every 2 months, 6 characters a year type pace. But I think 6 to 8 is probably what we're looking at. I know a lot of people seem to think like we're like 12 a year. I don't think it's going to be a month. It's not possible.
No.
I think that
characters take time.
I think, like I said, I think that they stockpiled stuff while they were away. So I think the idea is this first year, or like until the end of the year, they're going to be doing like a 2-week basis maybe. And then after that, they're going to slow down because that's unsustainable. They can't do that.
I think whatever characters they've kind of hinted at already in the trailer are either near finished or completely done and are just kind of sitting right now.
Yeah.
And they're just going to kind of drip feed them as needed. And then while they're doing that, go ahead and work on the next batch of characters.
Yeah. Like Eustace and Captain Boomerang and the Dodo Bird.
The really asked for characters that everybody's really pining for.
And Gwimbly, of course.
Is this a bad time to mention I don't like Family Guy?
And with that, thanks everyone for watching this 4-hour stream, and apologies for the brief pause we were all forced into having by the Grinch.
Sorry, I put him.
Sorry, I put him on my list. I knew trouble was coming. I did that, right?
First, he took Mock Rider from us. Now this.
I want to thank both Aiden and PapaGenos for joining us on this stream. I know it's a good 4 hours at your Sunday. I very much appreciate it.
I love coming on.
Yeah, I appreciate being asked on. Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah. I love harassing people.
You don't get a thanks from me, Huff. You're always Actually, no, you paid however much money to make 3 renders just for the bit. You know what? You deserve the thanks. You can have it as well.
Yeah, thank you for giving me $500 to draw 3 Family Guy characters off.
The check is in the mail.
Thank you. In all fairness, all I asked for was a McDouble, but thank you for the extra money.
You have any idea how much a McDouble costs now? That's more.
That's true.
It's more expensive.
All right. Okay. So as per normal, we're gonna we'll put this on Twitter, the complete image along with the poll for people to vote on, and then there's actually going to be because we obviously didn't do a poll for this episode because Multiversus was coming up. It was just timed. So the poll that would have usually come up in May will go up shortly for the June episode. So look out for that on the community tab. As always.